What's happening, everybody, and welcome back to the True Gamer Podcast, a podcast hosted by two gamers for you, the True Gamers. I'm one of your hosts, Eddie, along with my bro, the inverted gamer himself, Sheps. How's it going, bro?
It's going good. We did forget to clap sync.
Yes, the clap sync has been done now. Now they know how the sausage is made.
Damn it!
No! Speaking of sausages, take it out. Take it out for them.
Well, I can because I'm not. No, I'm not. We're not going to do that.
Conbrosations. No, let's do it later. We'll do it later. This
later.
episode is sponsored by MANSCAPED, but we'll talk about that.
That's right.
Later.
Thank you. And also, do stick around. I don't know if it's going to be this episode or next episode, but we do have a second thing that we just wanted to play with. So there will be a new ad to sort of like pay for your time to watch the ad, and it should be good fun.
Yeah, it should be really good fun. I like that. If we were to get ads often, if we were to get like sponsors often, it'd be a cool thing to just have like a compilation of ads one day.
I would like a video of like best of Conbros ads.
Yeah, right. So, bro, how are you doing, man? You sleeping well? Everything's good?
Do you know what? Last night I made it through most of the night, had good sleep. The night before, atrocious.
Oh.
The night before, I was in agony with like a crick in my neck, but like nothing I could do. Cold didn't help, heat didn't help, couldn't massage it out, couldn't click it, couldn't do anything. It was awful. I was up the whole night. I was awake for like 36 hours or something.
That's fucking awful.
It was grim. Last night was pretty good though.
Yeah.
And I've been playing a bunch of Horizon Forbidden West.
Nice.
And I haven't said it on camera, but I've a bunch of the stuff that I've been thinking, oh, it's probably going to be this. It's always been that. I'm calling the story beats very consistently, like who the villains are. Like I called where I thought they were from, and I was like, I'm going through this facility, and I'm like, I find this one thing about technologies that are being switched, and I'm like, I don't think these guys are who I've been told they are. I think they're who... Anyway, so
you said it on the last episode, and I went straight poker face. I was like,
you did. The thing about that was you were very like, it was kind of comic. It was like a caricature of poker face. So I didn't know if that was you saying you're ridiculously stupid, you're so off that, or if you were like, damn, he's nailed it. You know?
I left it in that perfect spot in the middle.
In that spot where I was like, because otherwise, if I'd have said a thing and you just gone poker face, I would have been like, oh, I nailed it. But because you're like, I'm not saying nothing, because I know we do this and I'll be publicly shamed for getting it wrong. Yeah. So I was like, oh, maybe. Also, like, I don't mind getting it wrong. It'd be nice to get a surprise.
Well, you're frequently wrong, as everyone says in the correcting Conbrosations all the time. So
I'm not
you're used to
listen
it.
to what these teeny tiny little smooth-brained idiots have to say about me. Anyway, I've been enjoying it. What about you?
Speaking of the Horizon Forbidden West and whatnot, our plan is hopefully maybe to have a spoiler cast up next week for that. We're going to see, obviously, but depending on Shep's playing it, I don't want him to rush through anything because then you don't get a good review, a good feel of everything. But if he finishes, which it looks like maybe he'll be done by next week, that's when we'll be doing that. And I'll ask you guys to write in and then we can have a nice discussion. I've got a lot of things to say as well about this. Might be a bit surprising, might be, you never know. But it'd be quite interesting to talk about.
I genuinely, I don't know what you think about the game.
I haven't spoken to you about it.
I mean, we do know, I think we can both agree. So we won't talk about the game play because it's fantastic. Other than the tiny little issues that we've said. As a experiential way to do video games, it's great. Really what we'd be talking about is the story, I assume, unless something new turns up. That'll be happening next week. I will say, we were talking about this last night or the day before. I was like, yo, bro, I'm at this point, I think if I really push, I can probably get it finished. And then
he said that 2 days ago. Bear it in mind, I'm like, I know obviously where he is in the story. He tells me I'm about this point, and he goes to me, oh, I think I could push and get it done for this week's episode.
In fairness, I don't know how much. Let's say I've got 20 hours on the game.
Yeah.
Maybe 5 of that is main story, right? Like, we know that's how I do this. So I was thinking, like, if I really, what I meant by really push is like game more than I would like want to.
Yeah.
Right. So just keep going because I need to get through it and only do the main story. I can probably get through it. And I send you that text. I'm like, I'm at Aether or whatever. It's the first sub protocol, whatever. And I'm like, I'm going there now. Get there and immediately realize I'm not gonna like no. And then I'm like, okay, well, if it's this and just those other 3 or 2 or whatever, and then I'm like, okay, cool. Get that protocol and then immediately can't go to the other two because I get sent somewhere else, which is main story. It's locked. You can't do anything else. You have to go here first. And then I'm like, okay, where are the other two? Pull up the map. And it's like, they're here and here. And the rest of the map extends all the way out here.
All the way.
And I'm like, let's assume that there's no story there. I'm still going to have to see what's there.
And then imagine, how many subordinate functions does Gaia have?
Oh, yeah, it's like 14 or something.
What if it's like, oh, you found the third one. Guess what? Now I found the other 10.
I was expecting that it would be like you get them. The premise is you need enough of them to then go for like the big one that you're going after, right?
Enough heuristic processing power.
Everyone you bring back, she gets basically smarter and can do more stuff and get more function stuff. And that by the time you're sort of ready to go for the main guy, the main one that you're going after, she'll be like, oh, because of all the processing power, I've managed to identify another 4. And
it could happen.
You don't have to get them, but if you do, my processing power will go up a little bit more, will give us a better chance of doing it. Plus, also, like, that's main quest enough for me. Like, that's close enough. Like, I'll have to. So I'm assuming. So yes, yes. So I'll try for next week.
I was like, bro, I don't know, man. I don't think you're gonna do it. You can try, but I don't see you finishing it for this week. Yeah. And then he gets to me today. He's like, yeah, I'm nowhere near done. I need a lot more time. And I'm like, cool, no problem.
I will say, like, if it gets to sort of, we record on Thursdays. If it gets to maybe Tuesday, and I'm still hunting for these other, like, the ones that get revealed later that I don't actually need, I will abandon it. I'll just go main story because I do need to know, and we do need to talk about it.
If I catch you looking for metal flowers anywhere,
100%.
If I catch you for looking for drones,
I know the location.
I'm gonna fucking slap you.
I mean, but like, the thing is, I'm not one of those guys that needs to collect it, right? Yeah. I just need to know. So I found a drone and couldn't get it because it wasn't actually unlocked. Like, I couldn't use it. I didn't know that they existed yet. Yeah. Now I know. I know where one is. I'm gonna go and get it, see what they do, and then I won't care, unless I find one naturally. If I find one naturally, I have to collect it because that's the way I am. Similar like the ravens in God of War. Yeah. There's like 7 that I didn't get out of like 28 or whatever. Yeah. The only reason I got the other ones is because I was exploring and heard it, and as soon as I hear it, I gotta find it.
Like, what the fuck is that? I have to know. Where is it? Even on PC, where I don't care about the PC achievements because they're shit in comparison to trophies. Sound.
It's it gets your attention, and you need to make it stop.
Yeah, exactly. And even I'm doing it on PC when I'm playing on God of War. Anyway, yeah. So we'll talk about that next week in full. It'll be a great episode. I hope you guys will enjoy it, and it'll be interesting to talk about a PlayStation exclusive.
What about you? How are you? What are you up to,
bro? I might be good soon.
Might be good soon.
This is the typical Eddie optimism talking right here. But then next week you find out that really life is just shit.
You do have a lot going on. Are you broken at all?
What it is my neck has been hurting me for the whole of time. And recently my back, I've been having problems, right? I have booked an appointment for today to go to the chiropractor and see what's what. So I don't know if they're going to actually solve the problem. I don't know, because people make jokes about like chiropractors. Oh, they're not real doctors. And I've never had an experience with the chiropractor, so I don't know if they're any good.
And if it's just people to go to one.
So I'm like, I've been suffering for years, and I wrote on Twitter that I've been suffering for years because of my previous job as a male escort. My neck has just been killing me.
Right.
It might get solved soon. That would be pretty cool.
I will tell you, one of my guilty pleasures is on YouTube. It's like watching this tractor is stuck for 40 years. Can we get it? Will it run? Yeah. I've seen all of those videos, by the way.
The whole of YouTube is like, when there's a new one, it comes to my
subbox. It's really frustrating when you're like, that's what you want to watch. And you're like, seen it. There's none. Why is no one rescuing these tractors?
Why is there not a 40-year-old tractor just stuck somewhere?
The best time to revive a tractor that's been stuck for 40 years is today. The second best time is to get a tractor stuck today and wait 40 years.
I was going to say, they need to do it like trees, innit? Where they're like, they're deforestation on one side, but we need to plant trees on this side for the future.
Exactly.
So when they rescue one, they chuck another tractor in.
Exactly, bruv. But my other guilty pleasure is on like YouTube and TikTok and all of that. Is not YouTube, Instagram and TikTok is basically I'm a crack addict.
Okay.
I have a drug problem.
Yeah.
No, I love watching.
Nobody was at all worried about it. They were like, yeah, that's it. That fits.
That tracks.
That fits, yes.
I
so
love
much so his brain can't turn off at night.
facts. I love. You got any more of that? I absolutely love watching chiropractor videos and watching people getting like snap, crackle, popped. Oh my god!
But it looks
It's
so fucking
cathartic.
violent.
It's so cathartic. I mean, we're both clickers, right? I can click just about everything that moves on me.
Yeah, every bone in my body, I can click that shit out.
All right. So like, I know how good it can feel, and you just see this like, oh mate, there's this one where this guy gets a strap, sticks around the guy's neck, and just yanks. It looks amazing. I mean, it looks like you're gonna kill the guy, but it's like if you survive, you know, it's natural selection, isn't it?
It's like I've seen many of those movies where people hang themselves, and it's exactly like this, except this time he's laying on a bed.
Right.
Why is that any different?
Right. It's just, I don't know, man. I don't know.
I'm hoping it's gonna feel good as watching those videos are.
Get the
they're
missus
watching
to
them.
record it. Maybe like the audio was. Bring one of those shorts.
Can you just put this
It's
right?
ASMR of my spine being destroyed.
Just putting the microphone right up to my neck. Crack! Oh, lovely and great. If you guys want to get cracked like this, head over to so and so.
Right.
Another sponsored video.
What's it costing you? Out of curiosity, what's
do you know
a
what,
chiropractor cost?
Do you know what's really funny? So, I'm a lazy fuck. That's the reason why it hasn't been done.
Yeah, same.
Not even because of the money, because it's not for benefit of your health. Really, it's not that much, right? But the job that I work for, the company that I work for, you know, the agent that I work for, I told him I hurt my back, and he was like, yeah, you were out for like a week, you couldn't do anything. He's like, do you know what? I have a good chiropractor that I'm going to hook you up with. And I was like, okay, but, you know, like, you can't just offer for me to pay for something. I didn't say that out loud, but he was like, don't worry about it, I'm going to hook you up with the first 5 sessions for free. And I was like,
okay.
And then they called up
Well,
right there.
in fairness, yeah.
And the guy was like, yeah, it's going to be £60 for the first one, £40 for the next couple
60,
ones.
I was thinking it was going to be like 150.
I thought so as
I was
well.
like 150, but if it fixes your back.
Yeah, but 60 is nothing, right? And he goes, and 40 for the subsequent 4 sessions and whatnot. And they were like, yeah, sure. And he handed the card to his receptionist that deals with it. And I was like, okay, free chiropractor shit out of it. I'm like,
on the other hand,
I might be fixed.
He might be breaking your neck later today.
That's it, you know.
And if the episode's
suspicious.
late, the episode's late.
Late, not off. Late, guys. I could be a quadriplegic, just like.
I mean, we'll get you one of those, eye clickers.
Can you edit Final Cut with just your eyes? Probably, right? Come on.
Probably. I mean, it'll be really inconvenient for you.
Yeah. Guys, it might not look as snazzy as normal. You might have to just deal with basic edits.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could be fixed soon. I could be fixed.
All broken.
All broken. Either way.
Let me know how it is. I would be interested to... Well, next week, you got Horizon and chiropractor review.
Update. There we go. Let's see what happens, guys. It's all turning
Also, if
up
it's
there.
just me next week, we'll know how it went.
So, guys, I'm here to talk about Horizon Forbidden West. My co-host.
Why do you act like the quality's going to go down without you?
No, it's more like you're just like I'm pretending like you're sad. Really, you wouldn't be sad.
Oh, you think I have to put on the professional? I got to keep up appearances that like we're friends.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah. I mean, obviously, you would if you get any footage of me.
It's really
dying.
sad news. But Ed unfortunately didn't make it. I'm sad to say that all of the profits of the channel will now be coming to me, and not Ed or his family.
We'll take a moment of silence.
Anyway.
Oh, God. Well, speaking of... How am I going to roll that in?
I don't know.
Speaking of guys I wish were dead.
There we go.
There we go. We have some super bros to thank. Some amazing people who support us over at patreon.com/Conbrosations.
No head movement there. Are you happy?
It's not a dab. It's not a dab now. You happy?
Also, I have worked to get more room here, but like this, it's still tough. You know, I'm like...
Do you know? I think we've spoken about this before, but probably have. But you know, there's that video of the little girl, and with all they're like Cub Scouts or something like that. They're talking in a foreign language, and they're all on TV, and they're all gonna do this like salute thing like that.
Yes.
But the way that they do it is so weird. Like they stick their arm out vertically, and then they go like that. And this one girl in the middle of the pack. No. She does. She does half the motion.
Yeah. That's
Everyone
right.
goes, "Huh," and then she just stays out like that, and she goes. Oh wait, we're not doing that one this time. Okay, we did.
Yes.
Like, what? What did you think was gonna happened there?
I was thinking of
like she's
I think it's an American one where they the bunch of them salute and this one girl just dabs in the middle at the president. She dabs.
Oh god!
I don't remember which president.
And president's just like, the fuck you doing? I'm an old man. I don't know what you're doing.
What was this?
Anyway,
is that child having a seizure?
Our super bros over at patreon.com/Conbrosations. Thank you for your support. Those great people are Diogo Dildo, Isak the Ultimate Cumsock, Sabine from Smallville, the Star Wars Encyclopedia, Adam Sandling, Jeremy Renner, that's right, an official Avenger. I don't know, saliva build up there. I need to swallow that bit. Okay, ASMR in the mic.
Oh, God.
Super Sus Ben Fryer, the filthy fanatic Joe McCormack, my juicy left nut, the super sexy producer Sean, the gamer from Gaming Shy Dave Benders, and Kevin, the #1 simp. We haven't had a good pause in a while.
Why do you take it so far? It's like chef kisses, yes. Italian hand, yes.
2 parts of this is the silence for the people listening on audio podcast, audio virgins, and then also me trying to get you to crack.
It's just like I'm all for messing with people, but like there's a line and you take a running jump over it every time, and it's in different directions. That's the thing. Like people. I must assume that I'm like used to it.
Yeah.
But what they don't get is everything comes out of left field. It's all like, I know you're going to take a running start to get over the line, but it's what direction are you going? Which way? Are you coming back over the line?
Yeah.
Or are you crossing it in a different direction? Who knows?
Of Xbox. Thank you guys so much for keeping the lights and mics on. I remember the first time I did that to you. You was like, oh my god, it was like 20 minutes later. So fucking great. Thank you guys so much for keeping the lights and mics on. The gaming going here.
That's right.
The Conbrosations, this wacky place that we call home. So quick little thing before we get into everything. Today is the 17th of March, is the day that we record this.
Yeah.
Today is the Hogwarts Legacy State of Play live stream. So obviously we're going to summarize it right now for you guys to know exactly what happened.
Yeah.
It's about 4-eyed virgins and a bitch that won't shut up.
Pretty much, yeah. They go to school.
There you go.
You get to come home from school to go to school. So now you just have to decide, are you prioritizing your real homework or your game homework?
Yeah. And every now and again, one of the guys says, asparagus, and then he throws a stick at someone.
Exactly. I hope you have to write your potions homework with the freaking 6-axis.
Yeah, that's it. There you go.
You got to sign your thing. Harry Potter was a
Could you imagine
dick.
if it's...
Get the pubes and the vein.
The vein, yeah.
Of jizz.
Could you imagine if they came out of left field? Actually, it's actually Hogwarts. Like, we're making Hogwarts, but in a video game form.
Right.
Like, you have to go to potion class. Right. You have to go to Defense Against the Dark Arts. You have to learn what a Dementor is. All this Mandrake potions.
You're actually going to school.
Yeah.
And it turns out that after the first 2 days where being able to do magic is interesting, it's just school, except there's no central heating.
Yeah.
You know?
It's all the worst parts of it because it's only cool if you was actually a wizard and you was actually fucking in the place. But then it's just like, no, you just have to study it. You can't in the end do magic.
Do you think Hogwarts is like, I don't know about your school, but my school, heating was on in the summer, off in the winter.
Oh, yeah. You know? They could never get it right. And I don't know why.
It's really not hard. It's either an on-off switch or a thermostat. There's no difficulty.
Don't get it. Why does that? Why? There's no way you could make up a scenario where maybe that would make sense.
And here's the interesting thing is, it's not just you and me that have had this experience. Everybody knows.
Yeah.
Like everybody I've ever spoken to, at least in North London, that went to secondary school, all say, yeah, the heating was off in it was off in winter and would come on in summer. Yeah. Everyone has that. So what is that? What is that?
I would love to know. Oh God, I want to just go to visit a school. So what's the level? What's the boiler situation? What's the Whoa! When the kids aren't there, what's the boiler situation? Why the fuck do you guys turn it off? Anyway, let's talk anyway about our main topic.
Let's do it. Let's talk gaming.
Let's talk gaming.
Yeah.
So, we have two big-ish topics. I'm going to start off with this first one, which is that apparently, according to an analyst, a financial analyst who people base actual financial decisions off of, in terms of buying shares, investments, and stuff like that. To be clear, this is
Jeff Grubb.
Not Jeff Grubb, not
Right.
Jeff Grubb. His name is Michael Pachter.
Okay.
He says that PlayStation will not exist in 10 years. That's his prediction, that PlayStation will not exist in 10 years. I'll read a little bit of exactly what he said here. So he says, according to the industry analyst, this is reading from another website, DualShock is right here. According to the popular industry analyst, Michael Pachter, things might turn out quite ugly for PlayStation in the upcoming days. When asked about how Sony will compete against Xbox's Game Pass, he was speaking on a podcast, this one here. He stated that PlayStation is doomed, he says, and he thinks that they are going to cease to exist as we know them in about 10 years. He further adds that this is due to the fact that Sony isn't a couple of years behind, but Xbox has gained an insurmountable lead instead. Thoughts, people?
So that's going to be an X to doubt from me, dog.
A bit, yeah.
I just double checked. June 1st, 2017 is when Game Pass came out.
Yes.
And this guy's been 100% correct. It's been nothing but PlayStation L's since then.
Mate, PlayStation haven't managed to make any money since
they're losing market share. No one's buying their console. No one's buying their games. They don't have a competitor service, which I don't even think needs competing with anyway. Xbox has only been gaining... Oh, wait, that's not right. Anyway, I doubt. Unless they change it. I mean, look, they might go, you know what? PlayStation 6, let's not do it. Let's do it Game Station 1 or something like that. Like, okay, cool. Different branding. Crazy. This guy was right. See, I told you guys. It's not what you were saying.
It's like, technicality, you son of a bitch.
Doubt.
The funny thing you said about the console is what he also predicted that this generation would be no consoles. So he's already been proven wrong once before, a couple of times before with other stuff as well. So he's
Stadia's gonna change the world.
The problem that I have with him is that while I'm gonna first of all actually say this is damn right stupid. PlayStation not existing in 10 years, they are the market leader when it comes to gaming. They are the ones that are producing the best quality with the biggest fan base, with the most amount of customers under their umbrella. So they would have to do something catastrophic in order to lose all of that, because you don't lose people simply by someone else making another product. People go, oh, I like that and I like this because this is still good. That's the way people go. You don't go, oh, you know what? They come out with a new flavor of Coke. Fuck the other flavor of Coke. I'm never drinking that shit again. I'm running away. This motherfucker can go die in a fire. Only now it's going to be...
Only new Coke.
Only new Coke, okay? Only. They go, oh shit, I like this one as well. So now I have two flavors I like.
Right.
They don't...
I mean, it's exactly like you said. It's like absolute worst case. Microsoft buys everything else. Sony still has like 15... AAA tier in-house studios.
Exactly. Making great, well-known, around the world, industry-leading games.
And there's also still third-party games that people can play anywhere but prefer to play on the PlayStation ecosystem, whether it's because they just prefer the UI, the way the console looks, the fact that it's been nothing but L's every time Microsoft tried to launch a new service. They try to rape your wallets. Yeah, they turn it back, like with the Xbox, the Gold, Xbox Live Gold thing, and right.
Did a U-turn on that?
It's the fact that they tried, and some people are just sick of it, right? And the fact that they've been releasing nothing but L's. I mean, look, I know Halo Infinite is a shining example of a Halo, right? But can't even give a straight face.
Try to do the improv thing. I'll be like, yes.
And
it didn't work.
Like, so far there aren't a lot of reasons to just be on Xbox. Game Pass is cool, but if you want something exclusive, and really by exclusive we mean something that is just gonna break the mold and set the bar that can only be played on one place or the other.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything that's on Xbox. At the moment, Fable could well change the game. That said, I was really hoping Halo Infinite would be the first real counterpunch game-wise. Forget like console and how the business are doing, but in terms of like, what do we have to answer the Sony march on the industry? Like Halo, let's give them a bloody nose. And then Fable, like, let's really start this counter attack.
That's a gut punch there.
Right.
And then another one is
Exactly.
like a right hook.
And then suddenly this is a boxing match as opposed to like a beatdown.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. And this is the...
Because the
narrative.
reality is we both have the disposable cash to get both consoles.
Yeah.
And also we're quite lucky in that because of the Patreon stuff, we're not paying for our games. So that makes our cost basis even lower.
Yeah.
Like-
We can talk about them here. Cool.
Right. I would be happy to get an Xbox. There's just nothing I desperately want to play on there on Game Pass, and nothing coming out. Fable could change the discussion still, but like, I really feel like I needed Halo to set it up. You know,
This is the... So I wish I could...
This seems so bizarre because PlayStation is an incredibly successful sub part of a business of Sony. It's got all the Spider-Man games. It's coming out with X-Men games and a bunch of other exclusives. In 10 years, I mean, what he's really saying is that the next console dies halfway through its life cycle.
That's another thing as
It
well.
doesn't make
because
sense because a life cycle's 7 years.
Yeah.
So we're saying we finish PS5,
Yeah.
get into PS6, or maybe they go like VI instead of
Yeah.
numbers, but whatever, right? And then everybody's like, nah, just get rid of it.
It's too hard to imagine because, like I said, there needs to be they need to do something fundamentally wrong. They're coming out with the service, which we said like I don't feel like they needed to compete
feel like
on
we're
that.
gonna rip Spartacus apart or whatever it is. But
Exactly. I don't feel like it's going to be great, and I feel like we're going to really go to town
Yeah.
on it. But still, they came out with a service that's going to appease those people that don't really want to pay full price for games and want to have a streaming a service like a Netflix or something like that where you get all of that. It's going to appease them, but then they're still going to have their AAA quality products that they've been producing for the past generation that we've seen right here, and still continuing to do on the beginning of this generation. What is it that makes him tell people with money to invest in certain places, give them the financial bad advice to go, PlayStation's going to be dead in 10 years, don't invest?
I mean,
I don't understand how you can say that as a professional, how you can come out with that. Unless he's trying to, and this is bad because at the end of the day, he's a professional pitching to other people who are trying to invest money. Unless he's trying to say something like you said with the technicality, where they're like, well, it's all going to evolve and change into another thing, but then PlayStation will still be around. It's like, well, then you're lying to people in a stupid way.
do you know what I think we need?
Then who are you? What's your name worth?
I think we need to see this guy's financials for legal reason. That's a joke. I mean, look, a lot of people are wrong about a lot of stuff, including professionals. Like every single professional was wrong about every single market crash. And the reason I bring that up is this guy's like a financial expert and all that shit, right? Well, all of them, barring like 2 people, got the '08 crash wrong. It's the best bull market we've ever seen. It's going to be amazing. It only goes up. Crash.
Yeah.
You know, same with what was the last crash? Was it 2020 or 2018? But like they never get it right.
Yeah.
And part of it is because professionals are like always looking at it and always looking at the same thing. And like, any of you, this is how I would relate it. You ever have a project and you're really focused on it and you cannot get past a certain problem. Then someone that comes in has no idea about what you're doing, but just has a fresh set of eyes, goes, oh, hey, why don't you do this? And you're like, oh my God, how didn't I see that? It was so obvious. Why didn't I see it? It's because you're fixated on certain things, right? So, I mean, this guy sounds like an expert to me. Frick him. That seems silly, especially to say to investors, right? You might say, like, I have concerns that Sony is lagging behind, where Microsoft is making huge leaps in terms of the business infrastructure overall of this segment of the entertainment market, that I do not think PlayStation is going to be the healthiest place for your money in 10 years' time.
Yeah.
You might say that. I'd say that's actually fairly scathing and probably vastly incorrect.
Mm.
But, fine, I'm a Sony pony. Okay, cool. I can see my own biases.
Yeah.
And that is that I go where the good products are, you freaking idiot. But, like, that would be the thing to say. Not that, PlayStation won't exist in 10 years. Idiot. You're an idiot. What are we going to do with all the PS6s?
The only thing that I would give him credit for, and like say, okay, this is the point he's trying to make. This is the point that I can understand is that with Microsoft's Xbox Game Pass being out for so long, you obviously have you seat yourself. You're established. You're in the correct position, and you just need to go from there. And PlayStation, when they come up with Spartacus, whether or not it turns out to be good, they still need to have that initial seating period and whatnot. And that is uncertain, and things can go either way when it comes to that. So that's the only point I'll give him right there.
Right.
And it may even turn out that PlayStation don't go balls deep the way that Xbox has gone balls deep in Xbox Game Pass, and that might be their failing. And I'm like, cool, no problem. But it still needs to take into account that, okay, Xbox have got 25 million subscribers on Xbox Game Pass, the last number that we got.
Yeah.
However, their financials still put them in dead last place in terms of Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo.
Yeah, in terms of console sales, they're dead last. We have no idea how much the people, those 25 people, we don't know, how many of those are paying.
Right. So then to a financial analyst, does that not bear any relevance in your whole calculations about what's worth anything?
Also, where is he getting, so he's a financial analyst. Okay, cool. Is he actually getting data from Xbox? Because we've looked, and this should all be public, we can't find the actual number of Xbox revenues. We can't find, I haven't looked super deep. It might be out there, but I can't find Series X to S's. I can't find that for sales. I can't find it So
it could be, you could always assume that maybe because he's in the business, he has inside contacts and talks to other people.
And there might be not for public release, public information or something like that,
but also,
you have to request? I don't know.
But also, if you're like a financial advisor, or if you've got the scoop on something and whatnot, then you're not bound to Microsoft's laws or NDA or anything like that. You haven't signed any contract with them, so you can just say, so my sources tell me that they've done this, and this is the reason why I've done that. A normal person shows they're working. That's the whole point of this.
That's what your working's worth more than your answer.
Exactly. Now, I think it's a load of bullcrap. At the end of the day, I'm not the one being paid to give financial advice. I'm the one that's being paid by our great patrons to have a conversation about stuff. That's right. And I want to have a conversation with you.
Okay.
Where do you think both Microsoft with Xbox and Sony with PlayStation will be in 10 years' time? It's a fairly broad question, so we'll have a nice little discussion back and forth up like that. But how do you see things going in 10 years? Do you think, first of all, consoles will still be around?
Yeah.
For both of them, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I do. I think the thing is, my answer's probably going to change depending on how Fable arrives and how good it is. I think Microsoft's making a 50-year-long play for the gaming side of the entertainment industry, which is massive. Yeah. Which is why, the reason that when we look at it, we're like, how are they throwing money at this? How has no one come back at this? And I think it's because the timescale for success is 10 times longer than we thought. We thought 5 years for a project. That makes sense, right? I think they're making a play for a slice of the pie of the entertainment industry. Not a little sliver here, but they want gaming. So I think they're just going to keep plugging ahead and trying to buy everything up so that eventually everything's just Microsoft. Everything big, let's say.
Well, they got some pushback on the financial, what are they called? The is it FDA? Is it no? FDA is the medicine.
FCC or whatever.
FCC. Yeah, they got
SCC.
Is it SCC?
I think it's SCC.
One of the CCs. They got a bit of pushback on that. So I mean, if they got pushback on this last deal, the next deal is either gonna get shut down or really screwed.
Not for 3 or 4 years though. all the heat
Who
from
knows?
this dies down. It's like, hey, Microsoft, we told you not to do this, and they do it again 4 or 5 years. Hey, Microsoft, we told you not to do it. You know,
It'd be very interesting
just
what
slap
they
on
do
the
when it
wrist.
comes to the exclusivity deal with Call of Duty, because they made that statement that like Call of Duty is gonna stay on all platforms. Don't worry about it, guys. To appease them, if they turn around and and go, actually, psych, we didn't mean that, then they won't forget.
I mean,
they
Microsoft
won't forget.
Does feel like the sort of company that says, let's say the Xbox division that says one thing and then does another after enough time's passed that you sort of forget that they said that. Do you know what I mean?
Phil Spencer's
Ask
thing
forgiveness,
was
not
just to speak out
permission.
his people.
Right.
Yeah.
Personally, I think in the next, what was the timeline for
years.
this? 10 years. I think it just continues as is.
Yeah.
From the look of things, what Xbox doesn't seem to understand is that just acquiring things isn't enough.
That's going to be a big topic that we talk about afterwards as well, in terms of like there's a bunch of layoffs and things like that.
Right,
So
there's a bunch
you
of
can talk
layoffs.
about them now a little bit as well if you want, but we're going to talk about it.
The general thing is that you can acquire all of these companies. Look, if let's say Conbrosations acquires BMW,
Yeah.
but then we don't put out any cars, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You can't just put out games, you got to put out bangers, especially when your competition is competition is the space, right? Your competition is From Software putting out frickin' Elden Ring. Your competition is then Sony, putting out Horizon and God of War. Like, it's not just Microsoft versus Sony. Right? If they're looking for a slice of the pie, they got to compete, because there's got to be a reason to get an Xbox, and you can't just say, well, it's the best place to play third parties. Yeah, but it's not the only place to play third parties, and there are exclusives that outbang you, that are way better. So unless they start putting out some winners, I think they're just going to keep plugging ahead, because I do think it's not Game Pass isn't a 5-year play, it's a 50-year play to just get everybody on it. We'll see in it.
I don't think either party is going to go away. I
agree.
think both of them are still going to be here, partly because Microsoft can endure almost anything.
Yes.
And even if it makes them look stupid, they'll still continue to endure it and still talk at the top of the tower as if like they're the balls of everything, even though that everyone else is like playing something else over here. For example, like this year, for example, PlayStation's had Sifu, PlayStation's had Horizon Forbidden West, Gran Turismo in terms of exclusives, and then all of the third-party exclusives as well. So third-party games that were coming to it as well. And people on Xbox are just like, yes, Elden Ring.
Third party.
And then that's it. That's what
also,
it is.
it's
So,
third party from a company that has a very strong relationship with Sony, which, by the way, they should have bought them up before Elden Ring.
yeah.
We did say they should acquire from.
It might happen later. You never know. But I'm saying like that's what the situation is, and still Phil Spencer over there is acting like they're the kings of gaming when they're bringing nothing to the table. Now, I will say, I'm curious to see how Xbox Game Pass goes, because it's done a lot in terms of pushing Sony's hand in order to make Spartacus, and every games journalist is talking about and shilling for Xbox Game Pass like it's no tomorrow. We still have to see what the effects of that is going to be. We've already started to see the effects in terms of it's now taking away money from PlayStation Studio products that we know and love. It now funneling it into this service, as well as how it's going to affect developers in the long run. It's still I'm curious to see how that's going to happen. I do think in the next 10 years we'll see how that works out. In terms of PlayStation though, I can only see it going bigger and better. The only thing that I think that PlayStation might fail at, I think it's going to be the movies and TV side that they've funneled into.
Oh yeah?
I think that it's not going to be as profitable as they think. It's not going to make as big of a splash as they think. I think it's going to be something extra, but it's not going to make that big of a deal.
What?
Uncharted came out and it didn't make a splash for us. However,
I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it as well. In fact, I've downloaded it through totally legal means. But
shoot me that link.
But it made enough money to warrant a sequel.
Yeah.
But is that enough? Is that what you want? It's just enough money to make a sequel, and then God of War's gonna come out, the TV show, and that's gonna be, I guess, mediocre. It's not gonna be amazing.
They've never really done it right, going from game to big screen. You can take I mean, the most successful version of that is the other way around, which is like the game and the movie, and those are never great games. It's a hard way to do things. I do think on that it depends, because Sony has been making movies for a while, probably 20 years or something like that, and most of them suck.
Yes.
They're not good. So it depends. Can they learn, right? 20 years in, I'd suggest probably not. Whoever's making decisions for the Sony film stuff maybe is too set in their ways.
Yeah.
But we know that given the appropriate team, they have the IPs to bang, because No Way Home is, I think at this point, either the second or the first placed highest grossing movie of all time ever in under a year.
Yeah.
It smashed all records. It's ridiculous.
Given to the right hands, it can work.
With the appropriate team, right writing, good cast, all that stuff, it can work. But it wasn't Sony Pictures that made it. It's a Sony IP that was made by Marvel.
Yeah.
So the question is, can they learn that lesson and go, okay, we need to draw everything back and build up fresh?
Yeah.
Because, like, for example, this Kratos show could smash. It could smash all sorts of TV records. It could be the best thing, like, for example, Marvel/Disney, let's say, right? The Disney shows are pretty great.
Yeah.
Most of them are pretty good,
Yeah.
barring what if. The Kratos thing could be all of them. Could be any Netflix show, any Disney show, if done properly. If done properly.
Yeah.
So they have the potential. So could a Last of Us show. That could be amazing.
The only thing that maybe to counter my own point about this probably not being so good is that a TV show has not been really tried before, and we're like in the era of TV shows now being made.
Yeah.
And TV shows have a lot more time for you to convey whatever's been going on, and a movie only has like 2 hours.
That's one of the big reasons that like comic book fans or game fans hate the movie version of things, because you only have, let's say at most 2 hours-ish to establish something. So then a lot of people are going to go, unless you know these characters, their actual origin story doesn't make sense. We have to rewrite it for people that don't know, because we're targeting cinema audiences, not source material audiences, and that's why you get all these horrendous rewrites, because they have to make the story make sense, be viable for the screen if nobody knows it. That's why you didn't have to worry about stuff in the Batman, because everybody knows Bruce Wayne. Everybody's seen a Batman story, right? I'm very brave of them not to do the origin story.
Mate, very brave of them, because they assume, like we said, they always assume like we're all gonna not know nothing.
So they just said it. We never got to see the scene in the alley. We never got to see no pearls.
In it, I mean,
I want to see Martha's pearl necklace.
Someone just cut that out. That's what you need to say. A Batman fan, he wants to see Martha's pearl necklace.
So if done properly, they've got a couple of amazing IPs. I do think The Last of Us is a great world to set a show in. I mean, The Walking Dead's gone at 11 seasons, right?
Yeah.
This is basically the same thing.
Yeah.
Post-apocalyptic stuff does really well. It's not the hardest stuff to make. It's interesting. Like, it can be well done. Same with, I mean, I would like to see a Horizon TV show. That one's going to be harder to make.
Yeah.
But like, they have the IPs. They've got the stuff. It's just they don't have a team that can make it. It seems, or somebody making decisions somewhere ruins things.
It's a good sign though that it must be that they're self-aware though that they can't do the job, because all of this stuff is going to other people. So Last of Us is on HBO, right?
Yeah. Didn't HBO make The Walking Dead anyway?
Did
or was
they?
that Stars? I can't remember.
They might have. They might have made
Google it.
Yeah, Google it. But they've given the God of War show to Amazon Video.
Yeah.
So they must be self-aware. They're like, look, we can't do shit. We can't do the shit justice. Let's get it out. It's far better to have. Yeah, HBO.
I think so, yeah.
It's far better to have the successful story than it is to have our name plastered all over it. It'll be cool.
They probably have seen that, like, it's better to have 30% of the best movie of all time than 100% of Venom.
Yeah. Hey.
I'm not even sorry.
One word. Eddie. That's all you need right there.
That's the thing as well. Like, people don't understand, like, well, you know when we say like, oh, we're Sony ponies.
Yeah.
We've beefed out Sony for all sorts of things. I do think we can be fairly reasonable about this stuff.
It's like the whole Batman thing. We get on a podcast, we talk for an hour about how we loved the Batman.
Right.
How it was a fucking fantastic movie, great version of Batman. We're like, by the way, I like Ben Affleck as well.
How dare you! Also, the best thing, I saw a tweet. You put a tweet out. Okay, we're doing Batman talk real quick. You put a tweet out, and someone beefed you out, and they were like, look. Why are we pretending that Ben Affleck isn't the most popular Batman? And they're like, in what metric is Ben Affleck? Like, any impartial poll, he scores the top by like, and he takes like 60 to 70% every single time. And we're not talking like 12 people. Yeah. We're talking like 70,000 voters.
Yeah.
And 60% of them like, yeah, I like Ben Affleck.
The way that it goes is that there's a circle here and it's like Ben Affleck fans.
Yeah.
And then there's a Batman circle that's smaller, but it still encompasses most of that Ben Affleck thing, and a little overlap on the edge. And those people that are angry about Ben Affleck on this edge bit over here, you guys are so small. Everyone else is just enjoying everything.
And people, like, the other thing is people go, oh, but he's like a nightmare Batman. Yes! Yes, you see the nightmare timeline. You see it. You see it. And they're like, oh, but he kills all these people. He's like, he's shooting people. It's in a nightmare. It's a future where Superman is burning the planet. Yeah. Superman, Clark Kent, is burning the planet down.
Nightmare.
And he kills a couple people with some guns.
Bad.
Superman! The symbol of hope.
People will just expect Superman to be a Boy Scout, and they expect Batman to be straight out of the comics, and then that's just, even though that was in the comics. But still, you know what's really dumb as well? Speaking of the comics, I said somewhere, people were like, the Batman is the most comic book accurate Batman. And I was like, tell me in what way this Batman would ever fit in like a Justice League scenario.
I would.
He is a loner guy that would never play with anyone. That you can't. He's
at least
messed
not in
up.
This movie. Yeah.
Exactly.
In a couple of movies, maybe.
Maybe he grows up. Maybe he works through his emotional issues, his mental problems that he clearly has. But this does not fit. So therefore, it's not really.
I mean,
anyway,
no one wants to hear it, but Keaton is the most comic book accurate.
Yeah.
I personally, I love the Keaton one. Also, people like oh god,
For life.
I forgot his name now. The guy that voices Batman.
Kevin Conroy.
Conroy. Yeah. People are like, Conroy's the most popular. I'm like, he's not. On the big screen, he's never been Batman on the big screen. The closest we got was that Crisis of Infinite Earths, where he's not even Batman. You turn up to Bruce Wayne's house,
and even then, your precious Kevin Conroy tried to kill someone.
Oh, and he's the Batman that murdered everybody. Also, I love Kevin Conroy. He is a fantastic. Also, but no one's ready for this discussion. Mark Hamill's the best Joker. Don't at me.
Yeah, solid.
And I loved Heath Ledger, but Mark Hamill is by far the best Joker, the best, most comic accurate, most presence, most everything. It's Mark Hamill, don't at me.
That's the thing. A lot of people think Mark Hamill and they're like, oh, Luke Skywalker. No, I think Joker.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think he's the Joker voice. Listen to this guy.
And he's amazing, but that's not the discussion we're having. We're talking about the big screen, and so you have to give it to Heath Ledger. The reality is it's Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill is the best Luke Skywalker. He's the best Jedi. He's the best freaking Joker, but we're not talking about that. So it can't be Kevin Conroy. What are you talking about, bruv?
That was our little segment of Batman and Superman.
Now, for your homework, 1,000 lines on why you're stupid and we're smart. I expect it on my desk by tomorrow.
There's a reason why on screen you've probably got it right here, where it's like the Superman, the Batman thing.
Yeah.
It's because it always devolves into that. We are just DC fans for life. You can never take it out of us. Speaking about Xbox and PlayStation, some of our guys wrote in.
Yes.
And Tailgate writes in and he says, both PlayStation and Xbox will likely still be around in 10 years, just as I said. Both of them have huge loyal fan bases that will keep the ecosystems going. As the article said, I don't think the Analyst should be taken too seriously, because I posted the DualShock segment right there. He said that the Switch would die if the Nintendo pushed the Lite and...
I mean,
instead they push the light, and now it's one of the most best-selling consoles ever. So maybe these guys just have some personal biases towards these companies that get in the way of his predictions. I'm sure Xbox are going to use this whole stupid console war. So Eddie, Sheps, you know what you need to do: get out there and bait some Xbox.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But PlayStation's gonna die. Look, Michael Pachter said it.
This is the thing. Is like, what was it you said that he was wrong about? You said he'd put up. I forget what you said.
What did I say?
He'd made a prediction about something dying off, and that was
consoles dying.
Consoles
He
would
said
be
the PlayStation 4 was the last generation of consoles. He said,
and then he's saying the Switch is gonna flop.
Yeah,
like, this is a guy who maybe either has like very significant biases, or, and it's perfect. And this isn't an insult. It's perfectly reasonable to believe this guy has no connection to the section of the market he's working on.
Yeah.
Right? And that isn't an insult, but like, he just might not be a gamer or interested in gaming or entertainment at all, and has no idea. And so he looks at cold hard data and certain segments of it and does stuff because he knows what he's doing, he's fancy and stuff, goes, oh, based on these trends, this is going to happen, but is totally devoid from the soul of the communities in which, and I'm talking about Xbox as well, because the idea that you would say, well, consoles won't exist, then why did Microsoft come out with 2 of them?
Why are they constantly out of stock? Why can't you?
You can't find a Series X or a PS5 anywhere.
Yeah.
So
I think it is exactly what you're saying. I think he's completely not looked at the the soul and the little like minutia, the bits that make up actually the dictation of the trends in gaming and in everything really. And he's just looked at he's just looked at the simple fact that subscription services are everywhere now, and they're the future.
It's a really profitable model.
Exactly. Yeah. Where's the subscription service in gaming? Well, Xbox is the only one that's doing it.
Right.
Well, they're going to be the winners. And they've been doing it for 5 years. Yeah. Well, they're already in
most
it.
businesses go bust in a year.
Exactly. Oh, and PlayStation have no hope of catching up if they've already got a 5-year lead on them.
25 million subscribers.
Exactly. And then he just stopped his research then, and that's it.
If you put down on paper the PS4 Pro and the Xbox Super Sad Series X1 PS Vita Vibe, whatever it was called, right?
What? God, it's good.
And then you say, oh, Nintendo's bringing out a Switch. What are the specs are? On paper, that thing is going to get crushed.
Yeah.
But what you don't take into account is it's Nintendo.
Yeah.
What does Nintendo have? Mario, Pokemon. I mean, like, Zelda. The list goes on.
Yeah.
So, like, you could have brought out the original game. If they bring out an original Game Boy, I'll buy it. If they bring out an original Game Boy, I'll buy it.
Speaking of that, I bought a PlayStation 1. I'll show it to you afterwards. It just came today. And I was holding it. I was like, oh my God, the nostalgia. And I was like, do I still remember how to do the disc swap thing where you get copy games in there? I'm going to try that. So I need to get a CRT TV as well to play it.
Yes, you do. Those are hard to come by these days.
Harder than the console for sure.
I found my OG Game Boy Color with the purple see-through plastic a couple of days ago, and my chick was like, oh, we should maybe sell it. I'm like, no. Also found my Pokemon OG, my Pokemon Blue in that plastic. You know, do you remember you could get those plastic pop-open cases for it? So it's protected. It's right there next to it.
Preserved in time.
I picked them up and I wasn't even going to play it. I was just looking at it like, man, this was such a great console. Not console, but such a great thing. It was so cool.
The memories.
And
anyway. I wonder if they're still locked in there. The save and everything.
Just all my Pokemon have gone insane because they're like, let us out.
We've been trapped in here for years.
Anyway, you look at stuff on paper and you go, the Switch cannot compete with the PS4 Pro and all that stuff. And then it's what, you miss the soul of the industry and what's around it, right? So I suspect that actually the likelihood is this guy isn't malicious or isn't being paid by Microsoft. Just doesn't. He probably knows a ton about the place, fully devoid of its soul and its relevant context, would be my guess.
I want to say something, and this will be like my final thoughts on the whole thing, actually. I do think that the purchases that Microsoft have made with Bethesda and Activision, that they have sort of particularly Activision more than Bethesda, because it seems like they're doing more multi-platform over here rather than exclusive. I think they've cemented themselves that they won't go away. I think they've cemented themselves that they're going to be in this industry for the long haul, for however long it goes on for, whatever happens. Even, as we're going to talk later, even if they do bad management decisions, I still feel like them being multi-platform for certain games, key games like Call of Duty, is still going to mean that they're going to get income coming in and they can afford to make mistakes on top of the stupid amount of money that Microsoft gives them anyway. I think they've cemented themselves now that they're going to stay in it. PlayStation just need to keep up the quality that they've got going over here, and they need to not be deterred by what's going on across the enemy lines over at Microsoft.
Right. They need to stop getting led by Microsoft. Is what they need to do.
And it's very dangerous because we've seen a couple of times they've done it, and
just by the nose, just like, hey, Sony, come this way.
Yeah. You need to just pay attention to your own thing. People enjoy your games. Just keep making those. PlayStation, I know you're listening. And I don't think PlayStation goes away. I don't see them making, even if they completely fuck up the next big title. Say they fuck up God of War.
Please don't. But
please don't do it. Even if they fuck up God of War, I don't see that going away. I still see them coming out with The Last of Us Part 3 that smacks it. Look at the next Horizon that smacks it. The next whatever else game that comes out, Ghost of Tsushima smacks it. And it's like, man, God of War really fucked up. But that's it.
Also, I mean, we said that, like, at least we have God of War 4.
Yeah.
You know? And all they have to do is just re-release that or remaster it, whatever. The thing is, realistically, all any of them have to do, Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo, in terms of their console sales, all they have to do is just not screw the pooch. You know? Don't try and bilk your customers for money for nothing. And just keep doing what you're doing. Like, Xbox has got a value proposition to it. We don't think it's good for the industry or good enough to get us on Xbox, but, like, there is a reason to get an Xbox and get Game Pass.
Yeah.
If all they do is just keep to that, I think they last 10 years on that. Even if they die in year 11, but I think they make... You can on what everybody's doing right now, just keep doing it. Even if it slows down a little bit, they got 10 years in them for sure.
The only thing that I want to ask is I wonder what the fan base is going to say. Because while Xbox are completely comfortable just lying through their noses that everything's great and they're the best in the industry when they have produced nothing.
Yeah.
When what they're trying to do, they're trying to delay as much as possible until they get to the next game, until they get to that big, all those Bethesda games that they announced, until they all come out, and all the next
Halo
Activision games.
Turn the tide.
Well, that's the thing. They did it for Halo. They were like, well, you just need to wait one more year. Now the console's out. We need to wait one more year. We can push it. Got to Halo. Halo was a flash in the pan, and now we're waiting until the next end of the year. We're waiting for Starfield now. Waiting for Starfield to come out,
which we still don't know anything about. But
exactly now.
And I hope it bangs, by the way. For all jokes aside, I really want Starfield to be great.
Exactly, and they're doing this constantly, and I want to know at what point, if it continues exactly the way it's been, what point the fan base is going to go, okay, Microsoft, what are we waiting for? Does that ever happen? Does it ever happen? I don't know.
Yes, you do know. You speak to the fan base on Twitter all the time. You bait them into... Like, the answer is... They never asked the question.
That's the thing. Accountability does not exist on the Xbox side.
One of two things happens. They never ask the question. Yeah. They come to PlayStation, or let's say, come to PlayStation, they leave Xbox. Yeah. And they just go. They just relatively quietly go, you know what? I have more fun on my Switch. Or I got a new job and I can finally afford a gaming rig. And they just switch. And the reality is that that's also not most of them, by the way. Most people sort of stick around on console for a variety of reasons. And the numbers show that more people are not coming to console, but getting consoles. Like, even the PC gamers get consoles. Yeah. Ones that are PC gamers through and through sometimes pick up consoles as, like, family entertainment things or for their kids or cousins or whatever. Yeah. But the answer is they don't ask that question. You know it's true because none of them, they've nothing. Like, how many times, what was that? You said something about, I think it was like God of War or something was coming to Game Pass. It was something was going to Game Pass, and you said we'll make a trade. Give us Starfield. It was a joke. It was bait.
I was saying Starfield, and then the other person said, "Well, if you give us Spider-Man, we'll give."
That's right.
We'll
They
give you
said-
Starfield.
So you were in a reasonable discussion with somebody, and they said, "Look, give us Spider-Man. We give you Starfield. That's a fair trade." This guy was perfectly reasonable, even though we have nothing, know nothing about Starfield.
Yeah.
But like, okay, and he didn't pick God of War.
One of our most beloved for one of your most beloved for some reason.
Right.
Whatever. Let's just assume it's correct.
But cool.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, cool. Spider-Man isn't. The games are a Sony property, but like Spider-Man's for everybody.
Yeah.
So okay, it makes sense. It's a good request. That's like if you said God of War, go away.
Yeah.
You know, but like Spider-Man, yeah, fair enough. And then someone comes in and goes, Starfield's too good to give it away for something as stupid as little as Spider-Man. Like that's Xbox.
Yeah.
That's them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
One of the best games ever made. Highest completion rate. Most fun, highest MP,
Most loved character.
most loved characters, highest Metacritic scores, most completed.
Versus concept art.
It's not good enough. It's not enough.
Not enough, guys. Not enough.
So you do know the answer.
Yeah, that's
And
the problem.
I really do think that level of like just self-imposed brainwashing will last 10 years. Yeah.
Do you know what? I worry because I believe you're right.
I will say, on the other hand,
Yeah.
and this is where you're like a little bit of you's like, oh, I'm sad because of Xbox. As long as Twitter's around, we've got free entertainment
Yeah.
for 10 years. All you have to do is go to a game that's even tangentially related to Xbox and then beg that it comes to PlayStation.
Yeah.
Or say, we'll trade you Spider-Man PS4 for PS5, you know, Miles Morales for this.
I have to say the entertainment part is the best part of this whole thing.
Yeah.
Just being able to poke fun and they just
Right.
fall over like dominoes. Adam, the high quality potato as well. He's been enjoying much of it as well as Superwell Ben. He did a quality one and he pulled the same move that I did, where it was like, no, those games deserve to only be on PlayStation because PlayStation is of quality. That's why Starfield needs to come to us and you guys can't get anything.
That's the one.
And they were like, what hypocrisy? And I'm like, how do you feel?
It's bait. It's bait. There's two good ones. There's the only good things are on PlayStation, so this game should come to us.
Yes.
Or you get the praying hands emoji and you say, please bring it to PlayStation. We need this stuff, right? Acting as if we have all the good stuff, but like we shouldn't ever be without good things.
Right.
Those are your two. You'll be flooded. If you desperately need 100 notifications within an hour,
Then you just need to do that. You need to go to the Starfield account. You need to tag it as hit notifications for all tweets.
Yeah.
So as soon as they tweet, you're right there, the first mention. You're like, please bring this to PlayStation, Todd Howard. I love you so much. Please, 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 please. And then
great
it's
writing
flooded.
like this which we don't know today, deserves to be in its real home over with us on PlayStation,
Yeah.
where all the best games live.
Yeah.
Don't let this
Hashtag greatness awaits.
don't let this just stay on Xbox where it won't be appreciated.
Yeah.
Hashtag greatness awaits. You know?
Play has no limits. Done. You need to get all those really Sony pony lines right in there.
The best thing would be also to add in or like everyone benefits when we all game. What was it? He freaking said?
When we all play, we all win. Something like that.
Yeah, when we all play, we all win. Yeah, that's what you do. You say, a great game with great writing like this deserves to be at home with all the other greats on PlayStation. When we all play, we all win.
I got that line thrown at me by the way.
That's what you do. And you'll be flooded.
I got that line thrown at me, by the way, from an expert.
Yeah.
And it was ironic because he used it under a game that was previously. It was Skyrim. Was talking
Yes,
about. It was Skyrim coming. It's going to be available on PC and Xbox. When we all play, we all win. And I was like, you're literally talking about a game that was available also on PlayStation franchise, and now it's being restricted to fewer consoles. Like that. I was like, did you just take that out of Phil Spencer's notebook right there? So you a bot account? What's going on?
I mean, it's just. So the answer, the answer is these guys will last 10 years.
I want to clarify as well that these are the most stupid people in the Xbox community. There's always great people in every community. There are...
You accidentally find great people in some of these things as well.
Exactly.
Like that one guy who we never really spoke with, but the guy that said, you give a Spider-Man, we'll give you that.
Yeah, yeah.
That was a great sales pitch. Yeah,
Exactly.
It's a great trade, yeah. If this was Top Trumps or whatever.
Yeah.
Sports cards, yeah.
And there are definitely morons on the PlayStation
For
side
sure.
as well.
For sure.
I see the dumbest shit in the world.
People that sent Laura Bailey death threats because she voiced Abby.
Because it was all her. She made the game. She made the game.
And also, let's be honest, her performance. Dog shit. No, it's incredible. She's amazing. She's one of the best in the industry. If you like games or anything animated, you like Laura Bailey. You like her. Yeah.
It's just when there are people batting for PlayStation, at least there's at the base level of it. It's like, okay, they're there because that's where all the best games are.
Yeah, there's a reason to support this.
But then when you see these kind of assholes still batting for a company that's giving them nothing, then it's like, okay, are you insane?
What was the last thing
Are
we
you
got?
insane?
What was the last thing we got on Xbox? I really think it was 07. It's like Halo 3 and Fable 3, I think, were the last good, genuinely like great things, I think. Let me know, like Alpha Quilile is a freaking simp for Xbox. He probably has some...
Speaking of the simp himself, Alpha Aquila, he writes in, well, it's no surprise that Xbox had the Game of the Year awards for Best Game Direction, Best Art Direction from Deathloop, which didn't even release on an Xbox platform. That tells you everything you need to know. Sony could never do that. And just wait.
It's true. They never could.
And just wait until November when Starfield releases and becomes the best game with nobody disliking it. Plus, Xbox is doing big things with Activision by considering acquisitions of the day after Bobby Kotick news came out. Xbox will save video gaming. What has Sony done? Made a few games follow the same recipe of family tales in the action-adventure style. That's going to get old really fast. Older faster than you can say Conbrobaballs, he says. Meanwhile, Xbox has a very diverse games and a wonderful package of even more third-party games for the affordable monthly price. Did you know that? Yes! Because of Xbox marketing, PlayStation only... this is a separate sentence. Right. PlayStation only markets their limited game service to weebs. Oh, so it's just to you, unfortunately. You know, he was saying because it only advertises on Funimation or Crunchyroll. He talks about.
It's really interesting that you brought up Conbroballs. Now for a word from our sponsors.
Oh, God, she's coming now? Oh, what do I do? Do I need to shower? Oh, God, yes, I need to shower. Oh, and I need to shave. Run! Hey babe, didn't hear you come in. I was just don't worry about it. Are you ready? Are you ready?
I'm ready, babe.
All right. Well, okay. Let's.
Wow. Did you manscape?
Why, yes, I did, babe. Only the best for you. That's right. For the month of March, we are sponsored by Manscaped. Yes, support for Conbrosations is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in the men's below-the-waist grooming champions of the world. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped just launched their 4th generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right, the 4.0. Join over 4 million men worldwide that trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code CONBROBALLS at manscaped.com. Yeah, bro, we are sponsored by Manscaped.
Yeah.
A legit sponsor.
An actual sponsor. Fitting.
Exactly, fitting. We are burly men with hair everywhere,
That's
so this
true.
is great. This is
That's
perfect
true.
for us.
It is true.
And even better, I was a Manscaped customer before they came to us as well.
I wasn't, so I'm a convert.
So this is
Yeah.
it. This is it. We're converting you. But I'm happy because it's a company that I clearly like, and we get to talk all about them and tell everybody else about how great they
we're
are.
sponsored now. They
Yeah.
did send us a bunch of stuff for free, which is cool. Also very high quality.
Oh mate,
Like,
just the
genuinely.
packaging as well. Like there's like all this like lovely packaging in black and gold and stuff like that. And yeah, they sent us the 4.0 package
4.0.
where we get the trimmer
Yep.
for your family jewels. And my god, it's so good.
It
It's
is.
so light and so sleek designed.
Yeah.
It's absolutely fantastic.
Ergonomically, they fit really well in the hand. Even this nose trimmer, which by the way I'm digging, isn't an all-in-one. That's a mistake. Yeah.
exactly.
So these are great. Yeah.
And they also send you a nice pair of boxes as well in the box right
That's
there.
right.
Manscaped all over. I put these on whenever my girlfriend knows that she's going to get a good time.
Right.
You
Of
know,
course. Yeah.
she
We
loves
saw
the-
it. We saw it in the ad. So
She's thankful, Manscaped. Thank you very much.
that's right.
But yeah, I really, really do love this trimmer. Multiple reasons. One, because I said it's like, look how beautiful that looks.
It looks like a ship from Star Trek or something.
exactly
Yeah.
so sleek and so
That's right.
shiny.
I dig the light,
the light on
so
it.
you can see where
Exactly.
you're going. Yeah.
And crucially, when you say light, it's also very light as well. I had
Yeah.
one before that was like big and industrial that barbers use, those big ones.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was scared using that thing because
right.
I didn't want to cut myself in a really bad way. This is so much cooler. It's so much lighter and I have much more confidence when I'm using it.
I'm a guy that used to use like beard trimmers for it, and then you end up having to get 2 beard trimmers because you don't want to be using the same one, and then they're never the right. Like this one, it's got like 4 different guard lengths, so you can choose what size you want, and I can't remember what they call it. It was like a safety thing on it, and I don't know. I just feel a lot more confident using it.
With your family jewels,
Yes.
right?
So
Another thing that I really like about this, you know I love my tech, right?
yes, you do. Yeah.
I love that this is completely wireless charging
Yeah.
and everything. It's got a little cradle that you just pop it in. It's just like, I'm charging, don't worry.
It's cool,
I'll be
innit?
ready the next time you want
is
me.
cool, innit?
I love that. It's so cool.
Very
Yeah,
convenient.
Really, really awesome.
Very convenient.
Bro, this is something that you guys can get in on, everyone watching at home.
Yeah.
If you want to join the Manscaped crew, then feel free. Get 20% off and free shipping worldwide with the code CONBROBALLS at manscaped.com.
That's our real code.
That's a real code. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use the code CONBROBALLS. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job.
We're awful at this.
We are awful at this. Is just to come here. There you go. Thank you very much. I'm awful at that as well. Thank you very much
We
for that.
are terrible at this.
He is so funny. So don't forget, Xbox is the savior of poor people with their cheap consoles to run new gen games. Now he's just slashing them.
The
Now
funny
it's
thing is like he's on Xbox.
yeah, he's an Xbox fan.
He's an Xbox fan, and
By the way, thank you for the support. We just came back from an ad. We're
oh yeah,
back
thanks for the
into-
support. Thank you,
Back
Manscaped.
into his comment again. That's what we're doing.
The thing is, and we've said this before, like my brother, actually it's not even his Xbox. His roommate has an Xbox, but he's hardly ever on it, so he has access to this Xbox.
Yeah.
And there's Game Pass on it, and it makes a ton of sense for them. A ton of sense, because there's not... And it makes a ton of sense for Alpha, who's a student, right? Not a lot of disposable cash, but a bit of spare time. Like, a bit. I don't know how he freaking manages to play games with all the stuff he's watching, but like there is something out there. The problem is I don't understand the hype levels. Look, for example, Starfield could be amazing, but so far, and by the way, I want it to be amazing. I really would like, because change of things. Forget Halo. Starfield could be the first bloody nose to thing, and then Fable, right? And then we're finally back on track.
Yeah.
We've only seen concept art. We don't know anything about it. We know that it's sci-fi, and we've seen concept art. It could be an RTS. It could be Age of Empires in space. It's almost certainly not. But you don't know anything. Is there a story? Is it multiplayer only? Is there multiplayer? Are there microtransactions?
Yeah.
We don't know anything. And Will it be amazing? God, I hope so. From the track record of the last 10 years, probably not.
Yeah.
But hopefully, right? Hopefully. I mean, like this, I would love for 2 years' time for us to say, man, Starfield really changed things. And now we have Xboxes and PlayStations. Like, great. More good games.
That's the thing. If we was to have a, essentially, in terms of size and greatness,
Yeah.
we was to have a carbon copy of PlayStation, but just Xbox decided to do slightly more diverse games,
Yeah.
but PlayStation were focused in what they do great, which is these third-person action RPGs, whatever the hell it's going to be. Those games, that is a fantastic future.
I
That
would
is
love for that.
the best future. There's me with an Xbox on one side, but to be fair, I'll probably put it on PC, to be honest, because just control. But that's my personal preference. But anyone would have an Xbox on one side and a PlayStation on the other. It's like, I need both of these consoles because both of them have epic greatness. And we would love that situation. It's just we're going to call it how it is, and we're going to tell you that that's not what the the world is right now.
Because we always said that what we wanted was a strong Xbox in the sense that they were butting heads for like best game of the year and best product. What's actually happening is that Sony's bringing out these incredible games, and where the strong Xbox is coming in is they're just acquiring everything. And that isn't the world that we wanted. What we wanted, and look, let's say they stop here and finally Bethesda brings out some good stuff, because they used to bring out great games.
Yeah.
And Deathloop showed that with proper management they can. Again, they've got the skill and the talent, right? So, like, let's have that. Stop acquiring stuff.
Yeah.
Focus on some good games. I mean both sides. I mean, realistically, Sony probably needs to pick up one or two other little titles. Like, not titles, but like, I think they should pick up Square Enix and From. And then I genuinely think it's not about taking anything away, and minus Elden Ring, because I haven't played that yet. But I know Elden Ring really made some waves. But at that point, I think they're back to being about equivalent size and impact, let's say, right?
I actually personally wouldn't like anyone to be acquired. I'd like it to just
I
stay
agree,
how it is.
but the
and
problem is
continue.
they have Bethesda. They've got so much that
In terms
Sony's
of
gonna be the
businessmen, they're not
tiny
going to do
little-
it. That's businessmen don't see it as what we want or what as the fans want or what's right,
They need
because
to have
they
a-
need to have a defensive strategy.
Exactly.
What if Microsoft's not going to stop buying anything?
No.
They're going to continue. What if they buy From? Well, that's
Exactly.
fucked, isn't it?
Well,
What if
exactly.
they buy Square Enix? Well, that's fucked, isn't it?
That's what I'm saying.
it's gonna
That's why I
keep
think Sony needs to protect itself and buy From and Square Enix.
And this is the shit we wanted to avoid. This
This
is what
exactly
we said in
we
the
wanted to
beginning.
avoid, right? But at that point, if everybody stops, I think we're like in a fairly even place.
Yeah.
And assuming that Activision COD still comes to third, everybody, we're okay. And then just focus on releasing, and let's pretend that this is a world where Elden Ring hasn't come out and we don't know how good it's going to be. Because we were saying stuff like this before that. Our position hasn't really changed. Then all we do is focus on bringing out great games. Starfield bangs, Bethesda brings out some bangers, and I don't mean Elder Scrolls and Skyrim 2, right? I mean something new that you can only play on Xbox, but is a banger. It's a reason to be there. And then ideally we've got Starfield goes head to head with Horizon, you know, and then Younger Scrolls goes head to head with like the last, you know, like, and these games are butting heads for where do I spend my time? Not what console am I on? The answer is you need to get both. Where am I going to spend my time today? Which world am I going to spend some time in today? That's the world I want to be in. That's the discussion that I want to be having.
This
But
is
they
the
don't
passion.
freaking understand any of it.
They just see you as like, oh, you're a Sony pony. That's all you just want something.
So frustrating as well, because like
You have these good intentions at the bottom of everything, and every bad thing you say is just to make the other person better.
yeah.
But they don't see it as
No.
that. And
Also, I
it's-
mean, we
fucking annoying.
rinse Sony when they do stuff wrong, because they do stuff wrong all the time, and we rinse them.
Yeah.
We rinse them.
completely ignored.
Yeah, Sony ponies.
Dark Diogo writes in, the computer lad himself, and he says, I'm sure both companies will be around in 10 years' time. Both have their hardcore fans. Sony have first party and plenty of third party players, which will keep them afloat. Xbox has Game Pass, which is enticing, but doesn't have everything. Both will be fine. Agreed.
Yeah, and I think Xbox, I do think Game Pass is enough to keep them afloat for 10 years. You know? But I don't think it's enough to it's not enough to compete.
Yeah, I don't the games that they have, and coming day and date to those things. So like getting Call of Duty day and date on there is going to be huge.
It's cool, yeah.
And there are a stupid amount of Call of Duty fans out there. But how big is saving $60 once?
Well, also, if you think about, let's say you have Game Pass just for COD, and a COD lasts you a year.
Yeah.
If you're paying full price for Game Pass, it's not worth it. You're better off getting the game. So,
and then also, are people buying? They are actually, because we see the MPDs.
Yeah.
People are buying the game still, but aren't the majority of people playing like Warzone now and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Anyway, I think it will keep them afloat, as things say. I think it will
Weirdly
keep
though,
them
apparently
afloat. And keep them going.
the older CODs are making a resurgence. So apparently Modern Warfare 3's had a massive spike.
Yeah, because like Vanguard apparently was so bad. and
Yeah.
People, were like,
People
"Fuck it,
just
we're
went
going
back a bunch. And I will say, I can't believe they went to 3.
Yeah.
3 is a weird one. Like right in there, you got Blops 1 and Modern Warfare 2, and those are amazing. And I get that not everybody liked Black Ops 2 and 3. Like I get that, right? And we hated 3, wasn't it? We hated Black Ops 3.
And I think 4 came out as well, right? Is it?
Who knows? Like that's around the time,
Lost
but like
track.
right around Modern Warfare 3, on both sides, you got other games. Like a lot of people like Black Ops 2. That's around the time we fell out of love with COD. But like just before it, you got Modern Warfare 2 and although Modern Warfare 2 is probably full of it's just hacker lobbies at this point. But
Do you know, I just thought of something as well a point that I was thinking about. Because what I do, guys, but just so you guys know, all throughout my week, I'm thinking about what topics to talk about.
Same.
And when I think of a topic, I'm like, cool, how would I podcast this? And I have a little mini podcast to myself, and I come up with points and stuff like that. So
I do the same thing. Yeah.
Exactly. So sometimes I forget, but I just remembered there is one thing that could happen that maybe would destroy. Unfortunately, it would be destroy Xbox, which I don't think it would destroy PlayStation.
Okay.
PlayStation, I feel like, can make a mistake, but because they still produce the quality, like if they, for example, like the microtransactions in GT7,
yeah.
that was a fucking mistake. This is a AAA full price $70 game that you came up with a new price, and it's something that you've increased the price of cars exponentially.
Yeah.
That was a dumb mistake. They made it in
Quick defense.
Go on.
Only a racing game.
That's it. So that's another thing is that
I do genuinely mean that. It's half a joke, but it's also,
it's not the game that all of us are talking about. It's a game off to the side with. It's like when FIFA does something dumb. It's like, yeah, but it's FIFA.
Right.
We don't care. No one cares. So they made a mistake, but they've managed to endure that and keep going, right? If PlayStation was to make a mistake like they were to make a shit God of War, it would suck. But PlayStation would still continue trucking along.
Yes.
Xbox have unfortunately put themselves in a position where they cannot make a mistake. That's why they quickly did a 180 on the Xbox Live Gold thing.
Yeah.
That's why they can't upset the FCC or whichever CC it is.
Yeah.
Because if they do and that deal gets blocked down, then they get screwed over and it looks shit to their fan base. If they make any mistakes, they don't have the games to back it up.
Yes.
But
they do have the cash to survive the 2-year glut that happens because of it.
That's the thing.
And all those mistakes are completely their own making. Like the Xbox Live Gold, whatever, that's their thing. This is how you share games on Xbox. You have to go towards. Every one of these mistakes has been completely in their control, trying to milk more money out of their base.
But do you think that the executives, and this is hard because they've already endured so much, but do you think that they would accept another Xbox One era? Because if they make a big enough mistake and it goes fuck you Microsoft, and then they lose half of their base and they all just come over to PlayStation.
But they're not gonna, because the propaganda's so strong.
Don't get me wrong, those people are gonna stay regardless. But there's gonna be a bunch of people that just go, do you know what? And also it affects future people that were gonna come over had they kept them maintain the current course. And they go, okay, we only sold 30 million consoles this generation, worse than what I think it was 40 million in the last generation. Or let's say they do another 40. We gave you all of this money. We gave you all of the time. We purchased 2 huge companies for you, and you still have nothing to show for it.
Yeah.
Do you think they get to the end of the Xbox Series X generation and they go, cool, we're going to continue with that?
Again, I really think it depends how long they're playing for. If they're playing for 50 years from now, then yeah. If it's a 5-year plan, like, look, our financials look awful, we're not doing this, then... But the thing is, there's no way their financials have looked amazing in the last 15 years for Xbox in particular. Look, Xbox done okay, but it's not, in comparison to its main competitor, it's been a bloodbath the last 2 generations. So
I honestly think that while I don't think it will die, I don't think they can always stomach the cash of it and whatnot. They'll just keep funding it and whatnot. But I can't imagine them and this is the delicate situation they've put themselves in. When you're lying constantly that you are the best and you're doing the best, then when you make one mistake, it's like a house of cards. That's how your lies are. The house of cards, it just falls down afterwards. And I that's the only thing that I could possibly foresee happening. That Microsoft, and I think it could be something really small as well. Like, okay, Xbox Game Pass has been going for 7 years now, 8 years now, wherever it comes to. And we're getting the biggest Bethesda game on there, the 3 biggest ones.
I'm putting the price up.
And then we're getting Activision games on there. The time has come that we have to raise the price because this is a business at the end of the day. We are not a charity.
Yeah, I think putting the price up is what they do. They kick themselves,
And then the fan base are like, fuck it, I'm out. I'm not paying. So what, now I'm paying $300 a year?
Yeah, you're paying, the price goes up and they stop doing all those ridiculous promotions. Eventually you end up having to pay the price. And then you look at it and go, man, if nothing changes, I keep hearing about Spider-Man. I keep hearing about Ghost of Tsushima. I keep hearing about Horizon, God of War, all that stuff, and Last of Us. We don't have it. I'm going to try those out. And then you stop. And I don't think it's a violent move. I think they go, I'm just going to stop. I'm just going to deselect that. Don't repeat. Go and try it out a few games. Man, this is really fun. You go and pick up like an old PS4 Pro. Maybe I should get a PS5. You know, like I think that's how that happens. Now, interesting. I'll go
quickly just before we move on. So it's like if PlayStation bring out like 3 games, even at $70, it's like just over $200.
Horizon Forbidden West, God of War.
Exactly.
There you go.
3 games a year. That's just over like $200 and whatnot. Don't get me wrong. Gaming's not cheap. It's a luxury and whatnot. If you can't afford it, that's your thing. No judgment. Nothing like that.
Yeah, and Game Pass has its all the
exactly.
We're with you.
But if Game Pass does go over and it crosses like that $300 threshold, then it's like. And then they still they're still at the same consistency where they're like 1 game a year. Granted, you get all those third-party games and whatnot, but you get them, and they're not really, they're like 6s and 7s. You don't really care about them. Then you start to ask the question, it's like, is this really the best value in game? Is it really?
Also, if you're getting a third-party title, you're not something that you're going to keep forever. Your cost basis does go down. You buy a game, you trade it in, you get the next game. And the game goes from being $70 to, well, really you're $20 out of pocket for the next game, you know? Interesting point that Chris wrote in onto the Discord, which sort of builds on this. He said, and this very much, by the way, is from the position of an end user, not someone looking at the space. Xbox has been playing catch-up, not taking the lead. The fact they say they'll finally release some games says it all. Because finally is in quotation marks. Couldn't care less about Game Pass and wouldn't be interested if it comes to PlayStation. I'm too busy enjoying some of the best games made, which happen to be PlayStation exclusive. Now, in the space, Microsoft's taken the lead, making all these acquisitions and stuff. As an end consumer, where the games are coming out, they're all coming out on PlayStation. Now, whether you want to play 5 different roguelites, that's not here or there, because like, for me, no games came out that year.
Yeah.
But how many games came out on PlayStation? 5 or 6. They're all coming out on PlayStation. All the best titles on PlayStation. In terms of product, Xbox are way behind and are struggling to play catch up.
Yeah.
So okay, here's my question for you. Where do you stand in the space? Is Xbox playing catch up because they don't have any games, or is Sony playing catch up because they don't have the subscription service and they don't have enough acquisitions?
I think it's a little different to the way you just said it.
Okay.
I think it's
Reword it. Go for it, blood. Let's hear this.
I think Xbox they're playing catch up, but they're playing stall because we hope something's coming soon.
Right.
They're like stalling because we hope the bus that is supposed to be on schedule coming soon. It says it's going to be here in 10 minutes. I just need to stall the people here for just a little bit longer. Just a little bit longer. They're hoping that these games are going to come, and they're hoping that these games are going to be fantastic. and they're just stalling to see what's going to happen. I don't think, like we said, Xbox Game Pass wasn't made because they thought that this was an amazing invention that was going to change the industry. They made it out of desperation and necessity. They didn't have anything that they could sell, so they were like, let's make something that we can sell.
Right.
And they made it up of third-party games, and they just chucked on whatever shit they had on
That's
deck.
why there's so many trash games in there, because they could get a lot of games on there for free. Yeah.
Exactly. These guys, they
Or
paid
cheap.
they paid however much they paid for these things. They didn't
Yeah.
pay the full price. They were like, you're not making any sales right now. Let's put it on this service. We'll give you some money so you make some money. And they went, yes. And then they had all of their own IPs, which weren't selling anyway. So they were like, fuck it, we'll put that on there. And then they make this big proposition. And then they're like, but we still don't have any games. And this was just so they can stall people long enough so they can bring their own games out. Unfortunately, the only thing that they did was that they made the promise that all of their games are going to be day and date on Game Pass.
Yeah.
So now all of these new games that they've got are going to be on there, and they can't make money from them properly.
Yeah, I mean, they shot themselves in the foot. Question for you then. Do you think that with their delay strategy, like the idea is to sort of close the distance so the games come out close together, so they don't have like a game release like Starfield releases this year and then they have to wait 3 years for Fable? Do you think Starfield, which we haven't seen any stuff for, so presumably isn't ready, gets delayed to, let's say, March? Like, we close in and then they go, oh, it's not ready. It gets delayed to like March 2023. And then it finally does come out, maybe gets delayed again. But now we're like within a year of Fable. Do you think that that's what they're doing? Is
It could possibly happen that way. That's a strategy that I could see happen too. I mean, people like seem to forget that Halo Infinite was delayed a whole year.
Yeah, years.
And imagine it had that come out when it came out. Launch of the Xbox Series X came out. That would have been a bang. Maybe would have sold a bunch of consoles. But what would have happened in between then?
Yeah, silence.
2 years it would have been without a fucking game. And it would have been 1.5 years without even gameplay of the next game.
Yeah.
It would be complete silence. We would all be so worried. And I mean, there's no evidence that anything has changed. So it could be that they're delaying it. They're just keeping it for as long as possible. Because when was it that they...
Starfield. Wait until Starfield comes out. Then we'll show Sony, oh yeah, it's been delayed. Hey, look, these games of this size, of this quality, like Halo Infinite, they need time to be made perfect. So we have to delay it. And then
I'm gonna have a look. When was Halo Infinite delayed to 2022? When was that announced? Have you got a date on your fucking article, bruv? Come on now.
it was supposed to be early 21. It was supposed to come out, wasn't it? Supposed to be.
It was supposed to be the launch of the Xbox Series X, which was November 2021.
Yeah.
But when did they announce that the delay was happening? That it's not going to come until 2022.
Oh no, December 2020, right?
Hold on, let me have a look.
Well,
You can't make this shit up. Remember last week we were talking about that one review outlet, Servitor, whatever it was called, and we were like, these guys are clearly Xbots and whatnot, and they're just downplaying every PlayStation title, but then every place. But it was great.
If you missed the episode, this one review outlet would put Xbox games very high in their Metacritic scores, and all of the Sony exclusives were many times below the average. So like, I think they said the worst one that I thought was just atrocious was, they said Death Stranding was
garbage.
Was a travesty and shouldn't have been. 5 out of 10.
3.5 out of 10.
3.5 out of 10. So that's utterly ridiculous, well below the average. And this is a game I didn't like, but it's easily a 7 or an 8.
Yeah. So what they
and then they said Halo Infinite was a shining example of a Halo game, and it.
So what they said was,
you googled it and you found an article from there.
I googled when like Halo Infinite delayed 2022, hoping I'd find when it actually was, and it was actually on April, sometime in whatever it is, April, whatever it is. No, August. Sorry, August was when it was delayed.
Right,
so
that's right.
A mere like 3 months before the game comes out, they delayed it to 2022. Anyway, it says here the title of the Servitor article: Halo Infinite hasn't been delayed to 2022, and this was just 1 month before the actual delay happened, because there was rumors obviously going around that it was not ready yet. And these guys are like, Everyone shut up, man. Xbox wouldn't do this to us, okay? And I love that came up as a title right there. Anyway, forget that bit. So it's 3 months before the game came out. That's when it got delayed. So Microsoft are clearly comfortable waiting that late. It could happen with Starfield. I don't want it to happen.
I mean, the
the
question I'm really asking you is, because obviously they would delay things if it wasn't ready. The question I'm asking you is, do you think they delay things based on this waiting strategy to try and close the gap, and they get close to Starfield, and then, because look, in the hype cycle, we're way behind for Starfield. We haven't seen any gameplay, we haven't seen anything for story. All we've seen is some concept art and some basic stuff. So do you think they get a little bit closer? This is one of the most awaited games on Xbox, the most awaited game on Xbox, and then say we have to delay, so like it's supposed to come out in sort of November, they delay it to March, so now we're within a year of Fable 4. Do you see what I mean? It's more delay tactics. Do you think, whether it's ready or not, that they delay it to eat up that gap between... Do you think they would? I
could see it happening. The only counterpoint, this is the only counterpoint, is that because it's so hyped...
They need it.
Exactly, because everyone's waiting. Literally, it's the same thing we said for Halo Infinite. Everything rides on Halo Infinite.
Yes, it
and
did.
it didn't deliver. And then it delivered half. It was like a good game, but then it disappeared.
It was also half. It delivered, let's say, 50%, but not all in one go.
Yeah.
It was like 10% here, 3% there, 7% there.
And the same thing is happening with Starfield. Yeah. Everything rests on Starfield. Could they possibly?
And also, I mean, imagine they delay it and then it comes out and it's just rife with microtransactions and predatory, like, paywalls and leveling experience stuff.
That would suck, wouldn't it? That'd fucking suck.
I mean, we'll see, won't we? I mean, maybe
see.
If they ever release the game, or do you think it's just, hey man, when Starfield comes out, it's like 2045. Look, man, when Starfield comes out, you Sony ponies are going to be eating crow.
Exactly. When Starfield comes out in 2028. Oh man, that was a fucking good discussion. I do think that this Michael Pachter guy is very, very far off the mark. I'm not going to be mean and say he's an idiot, even though it's an apt description.
For legal reasons, this is jokes.
But it's very, very far off the mark, at least based on logic and the world we live in.
I do think, like, I'm not patting myself on the back. I think I probably nailed it, where the guy's looking at certain kinds of data, and from that perspective, what he's saying makes sense. Yeah. But he has no connection to the soul of the and context of the surrounding ecosystem. Like, the thing about Switch, on paper, what he said, it makes sense. The Switch cannot compete with even a PS4, let alone a PS4 Pro, in terms of like hardware and processing and stuff. And yet it bangs. Why is that? Because on paper this thing should suck. Well, for one, it has third-party titles on there. You can play The Witcher. Actually, The Witcher, we played it on a Switch, and The Witcher was actually pretty well optimized.
Yeah, okay. It was really. I was like, Switch?
I know. I was really surprised. But the thing that he's missing is, which part of the gaming niche does it serve? Family gaming.
Yeah.
What are the titles on there? Mario, Pokemon, Zelda. Like, you can't... And it's Nintendo. You cannot lose. Yeah. So, I just think he's disconnected from the ecosystem. He's just looking at numbers and doesn't know what, you know? Agreed. That's my guess. But anyway, I wouldn't take this guy seriously.
Exactly.
He's just off the mark. And then he'll make one prediction, it'll be true, and he'll go, see, I know what I'm talking about, mate. Even a blind clock's right twice a day and finds
I knew all along. Bro.
Yes.
This is the True Gamer Podcast.
That's right.
Coming to your eyes and ears every Saturday here on youtube.com/comments. It feels a lot longer than before. Normally we do it within the first hour, but we're like an hour and a half into
We had a good conversation.
But this is the normal time.
They're only paid to have their names read out. Who cares?
Who cares, right? YouTube, over at youtube.com/Conbrosations1.
That's right.
That's right, over there. We don't need the C, apparently. And also on podcast services around the world. All you have to do is search for the True Gamer Podcast, and you'll find us coming straight to your eyes and ears. It'd be great.
Frick! I fully, on the way over here, was like, in the first 10 minutes, I'm going to remind people to like the video. Frick!
You're a bit late. Yeah, just looking at the time. There's a little bit.
Anyway.
If you're over on YouTube, if you can like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell, you'll get our videos every now and again when YouTube decides it, and it helps us out with looking metrics and stuff like that. How many likes we have,
YouTube
and if
algorithm,
little comment
other
down below. It's all
keywords.
good, exactly. And on podcast services, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, rate us those 5 stars. That really helps us out. We've got a nice growing audio virgin set of people over here. That we love them very much.
No one else does.
No one else. If you can do that, that would be really great. That's really awesome. If, however, you love what we do and you want to take your support that little bit further, that extra mile, you can head over to patreon.com/Conbrosations and kick us a couple of bucks a month, where you can get exclusive access to the Conbrosations podcast. You can get this podcast early at the $5 level, the true gamer tier, and have your name read out, like a bunch of these people have right here. And I still haven't even got the right names ready yet. Here we go. Just like Adam the High Quality Potato, Jeremy Horde, Sheps' Crusty Right Nut, Isak Manny, Adam the Alyssa White Glass Simp, right there. Clark 53, Kevin Crow, Sab2557, Joe McCormack, Random Wavelength, Billy, Diogo, the Sex Haver, aka Zacchino. Can confirm much sex being had.
Yeah.
Sent me pictures and everything.
Oh
This
my
is
God.
fantastic. The special DMs. Hashtag make the nice guys too, please, for the love of fuck Hollywood. Fishy the Jackal, Alex, Mikey Tilly, Alpha Aquila, Max H, Make Bindis Mod, Cobra SS, Sam Mason, Albie Scorry, and Night King. Thank you guys so much for keeping the lights and mics on and the gaming going here. Conversations.
If you're interested, you can head over to patreon.com/Conbrosations and join over 50 incredible bros.
That's right. We're going nicely there. Thank you so much for your support. If, however, you don't want to give us some money, that's totally fine. We love you. You guys just being here is all the support we really need. And liking the video, leaving comments and stuff like that is so helpful. We love you all. Thank you for your support.
Talking of leaving comments, if you're new around here, my favourite segment of the show, never forgotten, never once, correcting conversations. So look, sometimes we say things that aren't exactly accurate on the internet, and people decide that we need to be informed. Now we're idiots. So when that happens, or probably already did happen because we're an hour and a half into this, head down to the comment section of this video, because the comments help us with the YouTube algorithm. So you comment on this video and you say, at 12 minutes and 15 seconds, when you said it was this, it was actually that. And then we will read your comment and credit you in the next episode. Any corrections? Probably not, because we're super freaking smart.
James and also Earl Jones.
I freaking love that name so much.
Wrote in and he says, correcting Conbrosations. He never misses an episode. This guy is with his magnifying glass over our videos.
Right.
Motherfucker. He goes, to the almighty gamers on the interweb. I like that title. That's a good title. I like it. According to the Holy Spirit of chairs, the Batman chair, the Batman one, he says the Batman chair, the Batman one, the Batarang is removable.
Oh.
That just jumped up on my list.
Well, now, to the Right Honourable James and also Earl Jones. Good shout.
That is very, very...
That changes things significantly.
Yeah. Fuck.
That changes things significantly.
And you're just gaming away, and then someone comes up behind you and scares you while you got like your headphones on. You pull out the battery and you're like, ah!
It's going to be that thing from frickin' X-Men, you know, where Wolverine shanks Rogue.
Oh, fuck.
Imagine shanking your missus or Isla with the Batarang.
Right? And then she doesn't have the regenerative powers. She could just touch you and suck your life out. She can suck some... I mean... no!
Wrong podcast!
We're not doing that.
You need to be paying as little as $1 a month to get a Conversations totally unfiltered podcast over on Patreon. Conversations.
He also says, P.S. Come Part 3, the sequel to Come Part 2. Because remember, he wrote that and it was still completely clueless.
For the record, that started with he just wrote, come.
Yeah. Amazing. Also, people will love the ad in that. Aussie as well. Thank you so much for the ad.
Talking of the ad, there is another one coming. Probably not this episode. We actually aren't sure yet.
It might have already happened. That's the thing.
Yeah, if the new ad happened, you're welcome.
Yeah.
If not, sucks to be you. You should be you in a week from now.
Exactly.
Idiot.
God. Try and be like Alpha
dumb?
and time travel. God. Batfan 257 Stevenson, it says here.
Right, yeah.
Whole name right there. Correcting conversations. Eddie said the Batman.
Oh, it's one for you.
Finally, I get one right. Normally, it's like Eddie solid.
It's just me getting rinsed because you're well known for never having said anything controversial.
Do you know what it is? My thing is that I'm always making mistakes. My
That's the thing,
tweets,
innit?
my everything I write is always wrong. So people are just like, it
It's
seems
just normal. It just
low hanging
slides.
fruit. Come
it
on,
just
can't-
it just goes past the radar, innit?
Eddie said the Batman Secret Labs. Hold on, here we go.
Okay.
Batman Secret Labs chair has a bat gun logo, but the director confirmed that it's not made of the gun that killed his parents. Fake fans. I mean, so what is it then? I thought that was the thing. I didn't read that it wasn't. All right, I'll take that one. Bat fan.
I feel like you're getting off way too easy with these.
Okay, here's one that's kind of genuine. Okay, it's not correcting conversations, but it's a comment about what
Okay.
we said last week.
Cool.
Regarding the Sony State of
Who
Play.
said this?
This is Ruvik Rex.
Okay.
It
New
says
bro.
Sony perfectly set expectations for this State of Play. They said beforehand that it will show Japanese smaller games, and it was only 20 minutes. Whatever happens with rumors is out of their hands. If you found the event disappointing, it's kind of on you for not saying expectations correctly. 100% agree. However, I feel like our problem wasn't with the fact that it was. We thought it was going to be God of War.
Correct.
I thought was that there was such a big gap of nothing that when you come back with a low effort punch, it seems like that was that it? Was that really it?
Right.
If they had come out with something big as their big return, that's great.
Well, also because in today is the freaking
Legacy.
Hogwarts Legacy. So 5 days later, or whatever, a week later, and you've got one of the most awaited games in the last decade.
Had they started with this, I'd have been like, that was a good thing to start
all
with.
you had to do is roll this into that, say, look, here's some smaller, Japanese titles, because that's the industry that we're serving in this thing. By the way, one final thing.
Yeah.
Boom, Hogwarts Legacy, right?
Yeah.
That it just lacked oomph. That's all we're really saying. However, good point. You're totally correct. And we've never let facts get in the way of a strongly held belief. It's literally in the Correcting Conversations spiel. What do you say? What is that?
Catchphrase?
Catchphrase?
But then again, it's a long sentence, so
It's in our promo for the Correcting Conversations section.
exactly.
So get fricked! But it's a totally valid point.
Tailgate writes in, he says, correcting conversations at 1 hour, 9 minutes and 28 seconds.
God, I love those
It's-
frickin' timestamps in
love
it.
It's great.
Mate, when are they going to get it right and put the 72 seconds in there?
Right? The whole minute goes up to 72. Why didn't they ever get that right? Sheps made the mistake. Here we go. Back to you.
Motherfucker, always me.
Sheps made the mistake by saying that Kratos is Ares' son.
Oh, give it a rest.
That's not the case. Zeus is actually Kratos' father.
Whichever.
You fucking moron.
Fake fan. Also, the point was...
Hold on a second. Hold on to this. Give that back, you fake fan.
I'm like, what are you doing in there? I'm in such a cramped space. I'm trying to hold on to this full-size axe. My entire point in that, you frickin'... Who was it? Who said that?
Tailgate.
You frickin' idiot, Tailgate. I was making the point that if we wanted to work Christopher Judge in as Kratos into the show, and we were doing an early story of Kratos comes home family murdered and goes on to destroy the Pantheon, the reason it doesn't matter who his dad is we can work that around. So I said it doesn't matter his dad's Ares. My point was it wouldn't matter that in the canon Kratos is a Greek guy who's a descendant from a god. We can work out why an African guy's there, because Christopher Judge is black, and we can give him the power by saying, he kills a minor god and sort of absorbs a bit of its power and works his way up to godhood. That's a very minor fix. The point is this guy's killing his way through the Greek pantheon of gods because his family died, because he was driven to kill them. It doesn't really matter, and I'm willing to accept those rewrites to get Christopher Judge the only person that should play Kratos. I mean, look, I'll be honest though. I've been wrong about a bunch of people. I was wrong about Heath Ledger as the Joker. I was wrong about Ben Affleck as Batman. I was wrong about Arbats. I'm happy to be proven wrong. I would love for them to pick a guy and him be incredible. As far as, let's say they do another Superman in 10 years' time and they pick a guy and he's great, but he's not Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
You know,
We had someone so great and you just decided not to use him.
the answer is Christopher Judge.
Yeah.
And I will accept that we'll have to move slightly away from the source material to, if we're doing this early story, as to why is there an African guy who's a Spartan? But that's a minor, like it would make sense in the world. I can work that in. And because he's obviously not Greek then, how does he attain basically godhood?
Yeah.
Fine. Because of Christopher Judge. Because he's the only guy to play Kratos. He's Kratos. He's the guy. That's him.
And that's only if we start from the beginning.
Right. Oh yeah. If we just start, we
God
don't even
of
have to explain it. It's just Christopher Judge.
Exactly.
So, you mother fricker, my bad. Zeus is. Oh, I thought I got it wrong. Doesn't fricking matter. This guy's gonna go and like smash fricking ice giant guts.
Dude,
Like,
we said we don't admit fault. We don't admit.
oh, that's right. You're an idiot. You got it wrong.
Typical tailgate.
You got it wrong. Actually, in the canon, it's Ares. Go back. Let me just rewrite the Wikipedia post on. Go to Wikipedia on Friday and you check.
Okay. Our next big topic.
Yeah.
Which an hour and 40 minutes. This is going to be a big episode.
Whoops.
Microsoft have suffered another round of people leaving their studios.
Yeah.
In the last couple of days, the lead gameplay animator
Yes, I did hear
for the
this.
initiative, the one that's working on Perfect Dark, that quadruple A game, whatever it is they're working on, has left. Quietly, he just left, and he's now working at Deviation Games, which is a PlayStation a studio now. They're working over there to make a PlayStation game.
We can't edit this in appropriately, but eyes emoji.
Yep. As well as that, Halo Infinite's lead multiplayer designer
Yeah, I did hear
also
this.
left, bringing the total up to 32 people who have left Xbox Game Studios in the last year alone.
It's also 32, and they're not just like, oh, this guy was an entry level bug fixer. Like,
Right here, I'll read off some of the big ones over here. Principal technical animator, senior gameplay engineer, senior shader technologist, these senior systems designer, senior level designer, senior designer just for lead level designer, director of production, associate producer. Producers can be many things, but let's say that.
I just want to say,
These are big lead and senior roles for all of these parts, and they're leaving of their own accord.
they are, and I'm also noticing in your notes on the side just how much of that it says. Let me just let's have a look. Joined Insomniac, joined Deviation, returned to Naughty Dog, moved to Naughty Dog, returned to Naughty Dog, returned to Naughty Dog,
Sony Monica Studios, returning.
Sony Santa Monica, joined Naughty Dog.
Yeah.
It's just forget. Don't take this as like a Sony dub. This is a fully an Xbox L, and it's interesting as well. So you know when Sony bought, who did they buy just now?
Housemarque?
Was it Housemarque? Yeah. What was it they bought and they put down like a bunch of money for?
Bungie.
Bungie. That's it. It was Bungie. They bought Bungie and then put down a pretty substantial amount of cash as a retention incentive. Like, we've purchased you. By the way, you're still free agents, but we want you to stick around because they understand that it's not just about owning the company; it's about the people that make the product. And that seems to be. And I mean, it's just within. This is not because Sony is a great company, right? They're a soulless corporation just like Microsoft, but that they understand that the product is the purpose and it's the people that make the product that's the reason that they made the acquisition in the first place. And the reason that they're able to compete with Microsoft, who is much bigger, has much deeper pockets, is because they're delivering on the product end. And this feels like Microsoft are doing everything wrong, which is just flexing cash and forgetting that you can have all these studios, but if they're not performing, like it's pretty ironic that Deathloop came out from Bethesda after they were acquired, and if you like those sort of games, it banged. It was very well received, and it was very well made. Not because of anything to do with Microsoft. It was because specifically, whoever manages these sorts of things at Sony gave specific instructions to Bethesda, and it proved that Bethesda has the skill to make this stuff, and when managed properly, makes good stuff. Kind of ironic, because now they're I don't know. It's just again. We described this before this generation of consoles came out. I described it as a bloodbath on the Microsoft end. They're just losing it every turn. Not only were they losing in terms of their games were being outperformed and all that stuff, and they're producing nothing, but they're bleeding employees.
Yeah.
And these are not minor things. This isn't like
not.
lead level design, lead story design. Like
this isn't like their contract was up and it's like, do you know what? I've had enough of
I'm
this.
going to move companies. Yeah, moving companies is not an unusual thing.
For example, the this Lee Davis guy, the guy who left the lead gameplay animator area, he was at Naughty Dog until September 2020. He left to go to Initiative, and before 2 years is up, 1 year and 6 months later, he leaves there as well. Not enough to make an impact in anything.
No.
Especially with the game, and the game hasn't released. If you shipped a game and then you went, right, I'm out.
Right.
Then it's another thing.
Yeah.
And if this game isn't like a live service game, so like the Halo Infinite one, the lead multiplayer guy leaving, it's like this is supposed to be
a live service game.
It's you've
supposed to have
this,
a lifetime of 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, and also you dubbed that this game was going to be like, this is going to be the Halo, and we're just going to keep building on this Halo to go forward. You've lost the lead animator guy within the first year.
Yeah.
Anyway, the lead multiplayer guy.
Yeah.
This is another little note to put in the column of Xbox not really not knowing how to manage studios.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing that we said when they acquired Bethesda, when they acquired Activision. We were like, they don't really know how to manage anything. They've shut down a ton of studios, and a ton of projects have been cancelled.
Rare's a perfect example.
Exactly. Scalebound got cancelled. All of these big titles, these things that people were waiting for, all got cancelled, and studios have been shut down because they don't know how to work it. Now, when you talk to any of these developers, they always say like, oh, Microsoft have a very hands-off approach. They allow us to just do what we want and go and do our thing.
Apparently not.
Well, this is the thing, is if they're telling the truth, then that adds another layer of this, like, yeah, but that's not what management is supposed to do. There's a whole reason it's called management, is because you're supposed to manage your studios. Maybe the problem is that you're
micromanage, but
exactly. Maybe it's that you're too hands off. You're just letting them do whatever they want.
You don't want to micromanage, but you do need to macromanage.
Right.
You do need to actually be there.
Now, we said when it came to like when Stories of Crunch come out, we said it's like, okay, I understand what you mean when you say crunch is bad. It's like you don't want people to fucking kill themselves at the end of this. You don't want them to miss out important parts of their family lives just so they can put this game out so we can have something to enjoy for 20 hours and whatnot.
I mean, that's what some people think.
Some people
I say frick them.
Fuck them all. Whip them with it. But you want them to have some sort of balance. But at the end of the day, this is a job. This is art. And as an artist, as a creator, you want to be able to put the best thing out there. And
it's also well known in the industry that when a game comes out, that there's a lot more expected of you in the run up to it. Yeah, that's known.
People in the creative space, they do band together. They crunch. They go, okay, guys, we all need to pass the finishing line and we need to do this all together. Everyone puts their heads down and they go and get it done. It's not necessarily a bad thing. When you don't have that sort of camaraderie, when you don't have that sort of pressure to get things done at the end, I think this is what you get.
Yep.
You get, well, nothing. And then projects...
Also,
let me go. And then projects go on for way too long, and then maybe, things aren't coming together. Let's bring in a completely separate development studio, Crystal Dynamics, to work on this Perfect Dark game because we can't get it done ourselves. And then apparently as well, a VGC article came out that apparently people inside the studio don't know what the hell they're doing with this game because one team wants to do one thing and the other team has got a completely different view on this thing. And no one has been told by upper management that these people are the lead guys to go forward. It's pretty much everyone's their own boss. Everyone gets to do whatever they like. And that, again,
you need a pecking order. You need a structure so everybody knows who to go to when they have a problem or who makes the decisions.
Who's the person that's going to put the final say? It's like two people have a great idea. You need to decide one of them.
Yeah, we only have the resources and the time and the scope to do one. Well,
Or even they both butt heads. These two things cannot coexist.
Right.
One of them needs to go. Someone needs to decide who does that.
It's funny because I was gonna say as my add-in was the projects is yes, these guys have a job, but part of especially this kind of job, which is ultimately coding in general, ultimately is a creative thing. I'm not saying this is the case, but I feel like you could make the argument, being completely outside, that maybe these guys don't feel rewarded in these projects and they want to go somewhere where they know there are rewarding projects that they can, one, be a part of, and two, actually complete. And that isn't to say that these studios aren't good, it's to say that they aren't bringing anything out. Whereas, again, you move over to the Sony side, and there were, 8 exclusives in 2021? And it looks like there's going to be 5 this year.
There's 3 already, 5 probably.
Yeah.
5 by the end of it, yeah.
And there's 10 of a certain type scheduled in the next 7 years. There's a bunch of stuff coming out, meaning that you're going to work on something and it's going to actually get... Please, I beg you, plug that in.
My battery's low on my laptop and it's killing Sheps.
But it just... I don't know, man. It doesn't... But I think, look, we've been pretty on topic. When the first acquisition talk started coming out and they bought Bethesda, I'm pretty sure, at least I was saying, I'm not worried because it's not just the house. It needs to be managed properly, and Microsoft aren't bringing anything out. Bethesda hasn't brought anything out of significance in the last few years. I'm not particularly worried. And now it turns out that it looks like we were completely spot on.
Yeah.
People saying, I'm really worried they're going to own everything, but they're not making anything.
Even if you wanted to say, oh, but that's a new studio, maybe it takes some time to get going and whatnot. Let's kick it over to Halo Infinite right now, which
After you plug in your freaking...
I actually don't have my charger here, so it's going to have to live, unfortunately. Go on, little baby.
Turn the brightness down.
I'll turn it down. This was it should have actually been in last week's episode, but we went on a little bit long, but don't worry about it.
Could
Halo
be this
Infinite
week's episode.
Announced that they are delaying Co-op and Forge even further.
Sick!
I'll read directly from the Halo Waypoint. This is from 343 Industries themselves. And it says, I'm here to answer 2 questions that we know are the top of the mind of the Halo community. What is Halo Infinite's team working on right now? And when can we expect new content and features?
Yeah.
I'll start with a brief answer and then go into some more detail, including sharing some new info on what's coming in Season 2. This is the focus of the Halo Infinite team in priority order.
Okay.
Addressing issues and negative impacts to player experience. Obviously, it's a good thing.
Okay, yeah,
right?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
very
Fair
broad,
enough.
Very broad terms he's speaking there.
I feel that means bug fixes, but okay.
Exactly. Completing Season 2 and delivering on it completing Season 2 and delivering on it as promised by May 3rd.
Okay.
That's when they were doing it. Continuing to work on campaign co-op, Forge, and Season 3.
That's a lot lumped into
one thing.
Yeah.
And also, there's only 3 points here. Co-op and Forge is the bottom priority they've got here. After a year delay and after launching the game and saying it's going to come out soon afterwards.
it's also a stock feature.
And it's right there at the bottom.
Co-op and Forge should... This is how Halo games release. Halos 1 to 3. Now, I understand this is the first game ever released after Halo 3. They never made any more. It comes out with a campaign, with co-op, with Forge, with multiplayer. That's how you release a Halo game.
Yeah.
And then you do DLC or whatever you're going to do.
Yeah.
Then you do seasons in the multiplayer.
But they seem to have put that, which is a key part of it, a core part of it, at the bottom of the pecking order.
Again, it seems like there are complete misunderstandings about what's going on and what should be prioritized. But then the other side of that coin is it came out functionally, it's flopped. It was great when it arrived, but now it's flopped.
Yeah.
It was a flash in the pan, it's done. Why would you prioritize functions for a game no one's playing?
Yeah.
There's 4,000 people on Steam? Something like that. Presumably about the same or maybe less on Xbox. I mean,
it continues to go on and it says, we also have a priority 0 in quotation marks.
Okay.
It says, the underlying things we do, namely team health, with emphasis on getting ourselves to a sustainable development rhythm so that we can deliver great experiences for all while keeping the health of the work-life balance. Before I'm going to continue going on. I'm going to say priority zero means that we sometimes need to move slower than we can move faster. Frankly, these last few months have been slower than we expected, and we sincerely thank you for your patience as we stay true to our priorities above. This whole thing actually pisses me off a little bit, and I'm not even the Halo fan.
Yes.
I'm pissed off with this one because Co-op and Forge, these things that you said was going to be in the game. Okay, you said, all right, we're going to delay it to shortly after launch, no problem.
Imagine they release a game with no story.
Has been put so far down the list of priorities at the dead last. And then also they follow up with an emphasis on our sustainable development rhythm so that we can deliver great experiences to all you while keeping a healthy work-life balance. That should be without said. Is this a PR statement? It's like, we totally care about our people. That we want to make our developers feel comfortable and have a healthy work-life balance. That should be a standard in everything. You don't need to say that.
Are you saying that they're not being paid? I mean, you need to include that they're getting their salaries.
It's true.
Exactly.
We want to make sure that we're paying our also that we're giving them lunch breaks, and we're also allowing them to have water at their desk. These things are just normal things they should have. You're trying to pat yourself on the back for things.
It goes without saying.
So dumb.
Yeah, it goes without saying.
What they're saying here is just literally, please don't be angry that we're still not delivering on something we promised we would deliver.
More delay tactics. I'm starting to. You said it. I'm like, okay, that's one interpretation. Everything we're hearing, I'm just like, oh, you are not just right, but spot on. In more delay tactics, man. I mean, what are you gonna say? And
that is the point that I want to drive home. That okay, if you were to say that maybe Bethesda, they don't nail everything in the first couple games they get out, or in the first couple years, you say okay, they're newly acquired, they're still finding their roots somewhat, even though they're an established house.
Yeah, but like new companies, new management,
there's mergers, there's friction in
all
between,
sorts of stuff. Yeah, we can allow that. Yeah.
But this is the company they've had forever. Their sole purpose for the past 5 or 6 years is to make this Halo Infinite game, and even then they had to delay it. And when they delayed it, it seemed like it didn't make a blind bit of difference because when they launched, they still weren't ready. The content is dry. The main features of a Halo game are not there.
Correct.
The management is clearly off somewhere. And if Microsoft continue, you know what I think it is? Microsoft have got it in their minds where they're like, look, we can't dictate.
We're hands off.
Exactly. We can't dictate how these people are going to act. We can't dictate how they're going to work because that's going to look very bad for us. So instead, what we're going to do is just give them all the money in the world because we have all the money in the world.
Yeah, any problem you have, if you have the money, you can solve it. Right.
Just keep throwing money at it and then stand back, and surely that should bring something. But that doesn't. You also need a bit of pressure. You need a bit of pressure.
You need some pressure. It's not just pressure. You need guidance. If you just put pressure on them, they're going to crumble. If you put pressure on them in a direction, they'll be pushed in a direction.
Exactly. Nurturing. You meant nurturing.
Right. I remember. We need to get this done. These are our things. What are we working on? What are our showstoppers? Things that problems need to be solved or we don't have a product. Are there any things that we want to do but one cancels the other? Like, we can't do both. What are those? Okay, someone needs to make a decision. Yeah. Who's in charge? These two teams, we gave you this team to help you with a thing. Who's in charge? You can't just have two teams working on a thing. They're working separately, don't communicate, and when they come together, no one knows who's the lead. Now, we don't know if this is the fact, if this is the case, but like, it kind of feels that way. Yeah. And again, demonstrably not true when these places were making products for Sony. Deathloop was made, it came out great because it was given enough direction and enough targets to hit and stuff that they knew what they were supposed to be doing, getting on with, and then they were left to do it. If it doesn't meet these things, we're not giving you the money. Yeah. We're not paying for a product. We asked for a thing. You're going to deliver the thing. You've got scope within it, but there you go. So it can be done.
I keep remembering the God of War raising Kratos documentary. The bit that I remember quite vividly is that there's just one part of the game one part of the documentary where Shuhei Yoshida apparently came into the studio and he did his testing and he decided just to see an update of where things are going, and apparently he left furious. He was like, this is not up to scratch. This is not the thing. And Cory Bollock was like, apparently he didn't like what he saw. And that bit of pressure was enough to push them to make the best game ever made.
Right.
Clearly, what he saw was not up to scratch, and then
Or
afterwards,
was behind the timeline, whatever
it might be, he came out displeased, and that was enough to be like, okay, that comes from being hands-on.
I don't remember what he was looking at, but let's say you have a project and you got 5 or 10 other little things that would be nice to haves, and then someone comes in and goes, this core feature isn't working.
Yeah.
You need to unfrick this right now. Suddenly, do you know what? Those little things like those little crows, we don't need to worry about that. Everybody, all hands on deck, get this working. Okay, now it's working. We go back to our other projects. You need, again, you know, we're saying if you're on a project, you can't see simple solutions because you're too close to it. Somebody from outside comes in and goes, this is all, you've done a lot of good stuff here, but this is not right.
Yeah.
This is, the priorities in the wrong places here. You know, sometimes that's required.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm
More
really
Xbox
worried.
L's. Suck it, Xbox.
I'm worried about this, man, because all of these studios, had they not been acquired by Microsoft, maybe they could have done something. Maybe it would have been the same. We don't know. But all we're knowing right now is that there seems to be a lot of bad management decisions over at Microsoft. And if they continue and if it affects all these other games, then we're just going to get more crap games.
Yeah.
We don't want that.
And worse, my suspicion is that the Microsoft response will be, we've lost all these people, need a new studio.
Man, we need another studio.
Acquisition.
Fuck it, we're buying EA now.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, that's the big stories out of the way. We've only got really one more thing to talk about. And for some reason, is
that a Matrix version of Sifu?
So that's
sick.
exactly it. I will bring that in here. Actually,
Again, I don't like the game, but that looks sick.
Someone modded Sifu on PC and basically made it so it's Neo. And there's one scene where they added a bunch of here we go, a bunch of Agent Smiths. A bunch of Agent Smiths. I'll put that up on the screen for you guys.
Sick.
And fucking hell, that's cool,
sick.
right?
That is sick.
This is what the modding community is to me. It needs
This
to do this
is where PC shines. It's guys that can do this stuff and take passion projects and go, do you know what would be really good? Do you know, like, I'd love to see a Daredevil version of this from that hallway scene that happens early in the game, right? Like, that's where PC shines. This is great. This is great.
Yeah.
Also, you'll note that he's using a DS5 because those are X's.
Actually, I think I saw a Y in there. Oh, because it's on PC though. That's
Never mind.
He might not be able to change the button prompt, so you know.
Fair.
I guarantee you, it's on a DualSense controller right there. Anyway,
that's cool.
That's very really cool, right? Yeah. So the next topic
it's a good
I was
game, by
say,
the way. If you like roguelike games and you like kung fu movies and stuff, you will really like Sifu, I think.
So our next topic, Elden Ring is doing fantastic,
phenomenally.
Oh my god, the sales numbers are massive. I remember when it came out in the beginning, there was only comparisons to Horizon Forbidden West. And it was saying things like it's outperforming Horizon Forbidden West by like 80%. And I was like, wow. I mean, it's on multi-platforms and multi-gen, so you're probably doing quite well. Right. But that's amazing. 80%. Or is that just like Horizon Forbidden West is doing that bad? But we didn't know.
Yeah.
We got an official statement from Bandai Namco saying that they have sold over 12 million copies.
It's
13 now. Sorry, my bad. So updated numbers right
in
there.
the first week.
Crazy numbers
that's
right
Cyberpunk
there.
levels.
That's madness. Absolute madness. And fucking great to them. Great to From Software. You guys are doing fantastic over there. However, there is one thing that I need to point out.
Okay.
Me and Sean were having a discussion.
Yeah. Was it that is $70 worth it for a game that can be completed in under half an hour? It's too easy.
The speed run of it was like 28 minutes or something like that. I can't believe that shit. I haven't played the game yet, but I'm sure it's amazing. Steam came out and said that they have sold 10 million copies on Steam alone.
What?
That must mean that the 2 or 3 million words are on all consoles, on all gens only. Now,
so you were, just to be clear, what we're saying is the number is 23 million.
No. The total number is, I saw 12 million, you saw 13 million, whichever one of those is correct, right?
Oh, that 10 million of that is on Steam.
On Steam alone. So that means that the remainder 2 to 3 million are on consoles only.
Right.
And that doesn't make sense.
That first of all, that seems very low to me to be going across PS4, PS5, Xbox, both Xboxes and Xbox One, 5 consoles. That seems really low, especially for this kind of
right, and that's why.
Also, that's a fairer comparison to Horizon now, though. But yeah,
And now that's the reason why it makes me suspicious about these numbers, and I don't know where the inconsistency is, because if you think about it, PlayStation first-party games usually in their first week or so they sell around about 2 to 3 million copies.
Yes.
Yeah, and there's a certain number of PS5s out there, so let's say like Horizon's around about that sort of number.
Yeah.
That's only PlayStation itself.
Yes.
Then you have to think about Xbox. Now, I know a ton of Xbox players are playing Elden Ring. And then you have to think about its multi-gen as well. How have they only sold 2 or 3 million on console?
That seems unusual. I can't find the Horizon numbers at the minute.
Horizon Forbidden West probably hasn't. I don't know if they've even mentioned it yet or if they're aware.
Well, all the articles I see are all comparing it to Elden Ring and all saying, oh, well, Horizon sales have fallen off by X% in this period of time. But the problem is, if that is correct, that 10 million of those numbers are on Steam, then actually Elden Ring hasn't smashed Horizon. It's just taken all of the limelight and people are specifically misreading the numbers.
Yeah.
And I did want to say, actually, just because I haven't finished Horizon, I don't know how good it is, but it is, as a visual piece, as a game to play, fantastic. And I do feel bad for it that it had to go up against a game that is crushing it as hard as Elden Ring is.
Mate, it's the fucking best game for years now.
Right.
It's like,
and people are taking that as Horizon sucks. And that isn't the case. I mean, I don't know how good the story is, but that isn't the case. As a game, it is great. And it just happens to have gone head-to-head with one of the biggest hitters ever.
One second, I'm just going to check something. Horizon, I'm fucking typing things wrong. Horizon, I can't type anything. Zero Dawn. When did that come out? It was 2017.
Yeah.
2017 games. I have a suspicion that there was another big game that came out. Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
When did Breath of the Wild come out? It came out March 3rd. And
Well,
February 28th is when Horizon Zero Dawn came out. And then a mere 4 days later,
Breath of the Wild comes out.
Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
The same things happened with Horizon Forbidden West. These guys are not going to catch a break.
It sucks because even my opinions on Horizon Zero Dawn, like it deserves enough time to shine on its own for people to develop their opinions. And I think, again, if that is true about Steam having 10 million downloads, then every article I've looked for when I'm looking for Horizon Forbidden West numbers all compare it to Elden Ring.
Yeah.
At least the top 10 do. And it's like, first of all, this isn't what I asked to learn about. And second of all, the idea that you're comparing Horizon Forbidden West to 3 million sales across all consoles and pretending that it's 13 million sales or however many, 12, 13 million. That's not fair and representative. And the big problem, my big issue actually with the Elden Ring thing is that Elden Ring has taken all of the attention. Not that it doesn't deserve it, but that Horizon does deserve some attention. And because Elden Ring is apparently as good as it is, it has sucked all the oxygen out of the room.
All of the oxygen.
And that's great for Elden Ring, but not exactly fair in terms of the representation of the game as a piece for Horizon. It's just unfortunate, especially then prior coming out right next to Breath of the Wild on my days. What a rough go of it, Gorilla. Boys, you need to freaking work your scheduling out.
Seriously. Oh,
Delay it.
man.
If freaking Elden Ring's next week, delay it, bruv. Just delay it.
The next game that they come out with, whatever, Horizon 3 Forbidden 3.
Yeah.
It worked better when it was Zero Dawn, because like 1 Dawn, 2 Dawn.
Just keep calling it that.
Horizon 3 Dawn, when that comes up, they really need to take a look. They're like, before we announce it, any of you guys are going to fucking
Also,
Game of the Generations? Anyone pulling one of them out?
If another game gets delayed into your window, either go early or go late. Don't, you want a month where, like, if Elden Ring came out and you go, we're delaying it. It comes out and Horizon came out a month after Elden Ring. you'd be in a better spot.
They have to learn the lesson. If they do it the third time, I'm like, all right,
I'll
Gorilla,
die
Sony,
from
you
I'll write
guys.
a formal letter to Gorilla. Like, what are you doing?
As I said, the numbers, they seem weird. It doesn't sound right to be like, okay, on all of consoles,
Yeah.
especially because PC gamers, maybe because it's the first proper like Souls game they're getting, because they really love Bloodborne so much so that they would even pay for the PlayStation Now subscription service to just play that. Maybe that's why it's so hot right now. But to outweigh it that much, like that's 5 times more than what you pay on consoles, and console players buy games. We know that.
Well, in fairness,
strange.
for some reason, PC games come at half price.
Yeah.
So there is that sort of thing. Plus, they seem to love these types of games. It seems kind of unusual, but I mean,
and also another thing as well. I think it's one of the fastest selling franchises in the world. The only thing that's got here is it took 3 weeks to get to 12 million for Elden Ring. The other big contenders, Elder Scrolls, Skyrim, 10 million. It hit that in 1 month.
Yeah.
The Division took 3 months.
I'm surprised the Division got there, but yeah.
GTA 4 took 3.5 months. God of War took 13 months. These are all like, and even Breath of the Wild took 20 months to get to 10 million. So
this shows what happens when you get the PC. I actually would be inclined to believe, if that price difference is representative, because God of War is so amazing, that it probably is the PC crowd, and that shows what happens when you get the PC guys on side, or you get them involved in something. And would you look at that? Xbox isn't doing it, because Game Pass is basically, if you have Game Pass, you get it on PC. Do you see what I mean? Like, I'm being led. That is weirdly another nail in the coffin for Xbox, showing they don't have anything, because when you make something that speaks to the PC crowd, they will lap it up. You know, they went for Bloodborne, they went for Elden Ring, you know?
Let me...
If you got the battery life.
I'll look for something here. There was a... Okay, here we go. Okay. In terms of the... do you know what? I'm actually going to find a better source. Hold up, guys. Hold on. I had this somewhere, and it's gone off of my GameDist.biz. Is it this place? Yes, here we go, guys. All right. So there's a breakdown as well of like the percentages of total sales and whatnot. Bear in mind, this is only for Europe, I believe, because Europe has like a law where they have to state exactly.
It's to do with GDPR and stuff.
Exactly how many things, but other countries don't. I wish they would, so I can get some decent information, but there's balances this. From Software sold best on PC, with representing 44% of the total sales, which is amazing. Then it comes with PS5 at 27% of the sales.
Yeah.
And then Xbox at 16%, and then PS4 at 13%. So PlayStation made up 40% of the sales, 44% of those were on PC, and then 16% on all of Xbox consoles. That's just in Europe, but
you'd expect that it's similar.
Exactly, you'd expect something closer. But then even those numbers as well, even just the
all it really does is prove that Xbox don't buy games.
True. Also, it lends more doubt to the idea that 10 million were sold on PC and then only
unusual,
3 million. It's so, I don't know, man. Something
weird.
Doesn't add up there. Not a problem. It doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things.
Right.
We're still getting a great game and everyone gets to enjoy it.
It only really matters if that number is true, and then people are comparing Horizon sales to that.
Yes.
Because they're acting as if this is Bloodborne, a PS4 game, which it isn't.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's the only issue, because then it's unfairly comparing. And I hate that you're making me bat for frickin' Horizon here, but Aloy deserves better than that, if that's true, you know?
Okay. Since we mentioned Horizon briefly,
yeah.
if
you've got, again, the battery life for this.
I need to open up. Hold on, it's actually open up here. No, I haven't. I'll close the damn thing, like as I'm an idiot. Okay, over at patreon.com/Conbrosations.
Gaming.
Private Dinglebay wrote in, just like you guys can. And he says, sort of irrelevant, but I don't think it's irrelevant. I think it's tangential. All right, we love that tangents over here. But I did just finish her Forbidden West. On the side content, and the side content is so good and compelling that when I finished the story, I simultaneously got the platinum without ever opening the trophy list once. Fantastic game.
That's amazing.
I'd give it a genuine 96% out of 100. That's actually really cool that you got it without opening up
That's
the thing.
cool, yeah.
The thing that I do love, because I've got the platinum as well. No big deal. Don't worry about it, guys. Just a true gamer over here. I like it because the platinum trophy wasn't one of those things where it's like collect every fucking thing on
Tick
the
off
planet.
every question mark on the map. Yeah.
Even those stupid drones, I was like, I bet this is gonna be a trophy. Wasn't a trophy. I was like, cool, cool, because these things, I'm sure they're not gonna add anything to the fucking thing. It's just gonna be a collect all the fucking leaves and whatnot.
Yeah.
It was
Find
a really
all the
good
apples
platinum
of
game.
Eden.
Exactly, all the apples of Eden and the planets and stuff like that. I thought it was a very good planet trophy. We're going to talk more about that probably with Dingleberry next week, so
Next
you can
week,
join in
yeah,
on that stuff
yeah.
right there. And then we have one final question, and this question is from our boy Car56. He says, Eddie, I'm hopefully getting a PS5 this month,
Gamer.
but don't know what games I should get with it.
Oh, man.
Seeing as you are... True, I think that you are both of us.
Oh, okay.
Well,
He said Eddie, so frick you.
it's true. You're not a true gamer.
Yeah, there's no opinion from me.
Seen as
Should've
you're
got an Xbox.
a true gamer, I thought you'd be a good person to ask. I have a few in mind: Horizon 1 and 2, God of War, Spider-Man, Sifu, Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga, etc. But what else should I get? So, first things first. You don't have to buy some of those games on there because they're going to be in the PS Plus collection when you get the PS5.
Yeah, facts.
God of War is going to be in there. The Last of Us is going to be in there.
Yep.
Those are really cool right there. If you wanted to, this is a side thing over here. If you wanted to, you could get the PlayStation Now for like a month maybe and get a couple of games on there, download them onto your console. The Last of Us is on there. I think Spider-Man is still on there. I'm not 100% sure. But you get other games like The Witcher was on there at one point. I don't know if it's still on there. But that's one thing. You don't have to.
It's an option, to reduce your cost basis for these games.
But if you're going for Spider-Man, please do get Miles Morales as well.
Yes.
It's not very long on top of what you're getting. But if you go for that Ultimate Edition, then you get the PS5 version of Spider-Man and you get Spider-Man Miles Morales as well. And I think it's a good, nice story to put together.
To be clear, when you say it's not very long, what he means is you're not adding like 70 hours to your list, right?
Yeah. It's not another...
It's high impact, but it's not going to take you days to complete.
Exactly. It's not like Spider-Man 1. Okay, we're adding another Spider-Man 1 on there. It's more like Spider-Man 1.5. Done.
Right.
I think that's a good idea. I would recommend to somebody who likes like zombie stuff and whatnot, Days Gone, but I know that it's a slow start and it does have like its minor quirks. So I'm not gonna say go do that. I think you got better things to play at the moment.
Yeah.
So go that. What other games would you recommend?
Ghost of Tsushima.
The man himself.
Like, no joke.
I mean, it doesn't have 1v1 duels. So
is it even worth getting? Probably not. But like, it is really good.
Yeah.
The story is a little bit lacking, but like the gameplay's like, oh my god, the duels and the fact that now you can repeat them. Oh, so much fun. It's a good game. It's good fun.
Uncharted came out with the Legacy of Thieves collection.
Yeah.
If you want to play
And
Uncharted
a bunch of
4.
those games are on the collection as well.
Yes. If you haven't played Death Stranding, it's a bit of a Marmite game. You either love it or you hate it.
Yeah, I hate it, but it is fantastic. It's brilliant
And I fucking loved it because it was just something completely different to what you've ever played. I thought that was really good. It's a bit of a long game, but I think it's just going in there and experiencing the acid trip that it is.
That's a good way to describe it. It is
it's just fucking fantastic.
Like, in many ways, like, it's beautiful. The score's amazing. The walking, like, I didn't vibe with it. Like I said, it's a Marmite game. You either love it or you hate it, but it isn't bad. And I don't care what that stevia place says, whatever that sweetener is called. But like,
sweetener is stevia, isn't it? That's a sweetener.
Like, whatever that place is called, it's not a 3.5. Like, it's a. For me, I'd probably put it at 7. I didn't complete it, and I have to be honest, I didn't understand it as a story. I didn't understand the combat. Like, I still don't know how you fight the BTs or any of that stuff, or if any of it, like, you know, you make those grenades from your Wii and stuff. Don't know how any of that works. Couldn't really understand it. Didn't try too hard either. Just put it down. But if you do like it, you love it.
To someone who's never played the game, you make grenades out of your Wii?
Yeah.
What?
But like you did play it and you did vibe with it and you enjoyed it and you had a great time. So like, give it a go. It's definitely worth seeing if you like it, because if you do like it, it's a brilliant game.
Yeah.
What else is there?
I'm gonna go to my.
I mean, Bloodborne and stuff. Kind of, if you like roguelikes, Bloodborne.
Returnal. Oh my god, I forgot Returnal. Ratchet and Clank.
Ratchet and Clank's a really good one to play. Not only it's fun and lighthearted and stuff, but like you get to see a good example of what in a year or two, when someone just lets their developers loose, what your PS5 is going to be able to do, because all of those portals are live, happening, processing right now. It's not like some, they load in 2 skins of stuff. Like where you go, that is a whole new map that is rendered in live. It's very interesting when you know what's happening. Like you've seen stuff like that in games before. It just hasn't been done like this in games before, and that's the key. So Ratchet and Clank's worth playing. That's good fun.
Can I Bridge Your Spirits was a nice indie one as well.
Still haven't finished it, but
very small game.
Sifu's good.
Sifu's good. Not a PlayStation exclusive, but please, everyone play Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy.
Really good fun, and you can get it on Game Pass now.
You can. It's on Game Pass right now, but you're playing on PlayStation 5. So, but other people, this way, where it is.
But like that is good fun. That's really good.
Yeah. I'm just looking through my PlayStation profile just to see what games I've been playing. You know what? Those are some good ones. I think you should start off with that.
That's a good, serious laundry list. Ghost of Tsushima, The Last of Us 2.
And if you are a Demon Souls fan, they did do a PS5 version. So
Demon Souls, Bloodborne, Sekiro, if you haven't played that. Sifu, Kenna, Elden Ring, obviously, but that's not exclusive.
We've just named a lot of games. He's not alpha, where he can play 1,000 games at once and finish them in a day.
True.
All right. Hope that helps you out, man. That's we've not had. I like those kind of questions where people come and ask us for our opinion of something.
Yeah.
We talk a lot of stuff, but if you ever have any questions, guys, if you have questions like that where you're like, I want your opinion. Sometimes it cannot even be about gaming. Sometimes it'll be like, what is the best topping for a pizza? What is your favorite sandwich? Whatever. For small stuff like that, just hit us up for our opinions.
But put in some work, when we do our favourite burgers, and you come at us with like, I want it to be a hamburger.
Yeah, they're like,
shut up, bro.
Cheese.
Yeah, and I'm like, double fried fries. And I'm like, bruh.
Brioche bun.
Yeah, like I'm going the whole hog. And these mans are like, burger, put an onion in it.
But whatever you guys want. And it can be gaming as well. Like, what's your favourite RPG? What's your favorite RTS? Whatever it might be. These are all great questions. We love them. We'll sprinkle them all throughout the show and stuff like that. Anyway, bro, that's the end of our quite long episode.
It was a good one.
I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys got your fill of gaming this week.
We'll fill you up again next week.
Oh, we'll fill you to the brim.
And on that note, thank you, MANSCAPED, for sponsoring us for the month of March.
Thank you guys so much. And thank you to the people who have supported us and who have gone and purchased something on MANSCAPED. I saw Ben sent us a screenshot that he's purchased something. Thank you so much for your support, bro. I hope you enjoy it.
Send us some before and after pics.
Yes, please. Yeah, to Sheps' DMs.
No, it's okay.
Do not come to my DMs, but Sheps is with me. All right, bro. I'll catch you in the next one. Enjoy some gaming. Horizon Forbidden West next week. Maybe, possibly, if you finish it. I don't know.
I will try and finish it. I swear I'll try and finish it. And I will, focus on some main mission stuff.
Problem is I know you. You're easily distracted by
It's funny, I just said that, and I have main missions to do, but I'm going to find out about some tool neck that's acting weird as we speak.
This fucking tool neck. I need to sort it out, mate. I can't go on the main mission.
I have to know.